Well, hello everyone, and welcome from the ink of 61. It is I, Matt Gamer II. I am joined by the one and only Topic. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
You know, I just made myself a quesadilla, made some beans, made some rice. Feeling good. I'm ready to watch.
Delicious.
Now I'm ready for some Splatoon.
Heck yeah, we are. We got a heck of a lineup for us tonight. For those who are just tuning in, if this is the first time watching from the ink, and we have 3 rounds of pools, and then that does go into a. Is it a? I'm pretty sure it's a single elimination bracket.
Yes, it is.
So we got our first rounds of pools coming up. Malibu Rising versus the best ballpoint pens.
Yeah, I think the best ballpoint pens are the ones from the bank. You know, whenever you go to the bank, you kind of steal a ballpoint pen. Those are the best ones. They usually last the longest.
True, you're so true. It's like, and then you promptly forget about them as soon as you bring them home.
Oh, yep.
Ooh. Oh, wait. This is Barnacle and Dime for our first map. For some reason, I thought one of the teams had Barnacle and Dime in the name. I was so confused. But yes, we're going to be doing Barnacle and Dime zones. I'm all over the place. Zones for our first map mode.
Yeah, I personally, even though I'm not a big fan of zones, in my opinion, is my least favorite mode. I do think it does work on this map. I think, even though it is, the Tetris piece map of all time, I think it's just the variety of the options you have are a lot less limited than other maps. Like, you're allowed to go street, you're allowed to go plat, you're allowed to go that little flank route right by snipe. So you're just kind of allowed to move a lot more than on other maps like Hammerhead, Wahoo. I can't think of any other maps off the top of my head, but those are the 2 that came to my mind.
No, but you're so right, though. Like, it does alter. Oh, my goodness. I guess we figure out why they're the best ballpoints. Literally, all the ballpoints. Brought to the bank.
You know, this is not Splatoon 2 where quad ballpoint will work out for you, but this is interesting. A triple backline plus a dually. So I'm guessing they want to use a dually to get in as quick as possible and use the ballpoints to just kind of outrange people. This might work out in their favor, as it's just a big fight in mid, as Blumen's going to go down first.
I have to say, of all the maps to run triple backline on, this is the map to run it on. And like, they're not going up against any sort of like pencil or charger player, but like they pretty much the most long-range weapons on the map. So if they can use that to their advantage, able to hold space, and having the cooler and the beacon on hand allows them to be able to like hold that space for even longer, be able to keep back in quickly. And like, look at them go! Like, they're just staggering their special, staggering those teams, just getting a nice flat 2 down off of Malibu Rising, and they're going to be taking up some prime positioning on this snipe corner here.
Yeah, and I think the main problem for Malibu Rising is gonna be the double inkjet because, like you said, they don't have a pencil, they don't have a charger. If the best ballpoint pens get in range or get set up, there's not a whole lot they can do. They have to basically rely on the blaster to get some chip damage picks, or just have to pop a lot of specials. As they're gonna pop one, gonna pop two, but not a whole lot's gonna come out of it. As the hammer just gonna try to go for a pick and gets taken out instead. It's just this is exactly what the best ballpoint pens want to do. They want to lock out, and they're doing a pretty good job at it.
That's right. Like, we do see the cooler getting top right here, but they use both their strikes and their hammer pretty early. They do have some strikes online, but they're going to be taken out immediately by the inkjet. They are going to be able to cap it, buy themselves some time, but they are at a player deficit right here. They're not going to be able to take out Shake here. Oh, but they catch the landing. That's going to be huge. 2 down, another inkjet coming out, and already the best ballpoints are retaking that zone. And then just like the ability to kind of keep their numbers staggered, keep Malibu Rising staggered. They're able to really utilize that space that they have here.
Yeah, and I think just that's just the value of range. You're allowed to just play so far back that it forces Malibu Rising to come to them. Like there, the hammer got canceled almost immediately because they're forced to come to them. Again, the blaster goes in because they are forced to come to them. The best ballpoint pens can just kind of sit back a little bit and just wait for Malibu Rising to make the mistakes, and it's working out in their favor because they're about to get through their penalty, and with not a whole lot of competition in their wake.
Ooh, it is going to be a wipeout right there, and that's going to be a KO for the best ballpoint pens. And like, I don't think they ever really got locked out, you know. It's like they didn't have a full wipeout. I think between the beacons, they were able to at least keep someone set up on their side of the map, so that allowed them to keep the momentum running. With a triple backline comp, it is really difficult to break back in, but they were able to play so to the point where like they didn't need to break back in. They just kept Malibu Rising coming back again and again, trying to take the zone. And even though they kind of they were capped a couple times, it's just like, again, keep even space, holding all that space, and then making sure they didn't back off too far. I think that was the key thing that allowed the best ballpoint pins to come out on top there.
Yeah, I think that's what ballpoint just strives at the most. It's just a weapon that takes space, and you kind of have to deal with it, especially since the vanilla kit has the inkjet. You just kind of become like just a long-range turret that you kind of have to deal with. And unfortunately for Malibu Rising, they just didn't have the weapons necessary. Like, they had the blaster, and at the very beginning, it worked. It got I think 1 or 2 picks on an inkjet, and it was either the dualies or another ballpoint. Right, it worked, but over the course of the game, the best ballpoint pens just kind of didn't engage with the blaster in the blaster's optimal range. They kept it afar. They kept it not so far back. They kept it at a point where they can just bully and harass them until they were forced to back up, and they were forced to back up and kind of regroup with the rest of their team.
And I was just thinking about this today. Like, when you have a bunch of short-range shooters, their main weakness is their range. Like, if you go up against a backline or a longer-range midline or something like that, that's when you kind of have to back off and wait for your team. Blasters, they don't have the same, I guess, issue. Like, they kind of thrive, be able to close the gap and go against more range weapons, especially because of those angles that they have. But their weakness is just, like, chip damage from bombs, the paint. And so, like, having 3 ballpoints, be able to paint, keep the blaster away from them, like, that really helped. I think, like, you were mentioning that as well. Just like that, more than anything, was kept the blaster from being able to really push up too far and be the menace that it wanted to be.
Yeah, but I think this map is going to more so accentuate the best ballpoint pen's advantage, as we're going to Rainmaker Crab Leg, and if they can get hold of Grates, there's not a whole lot that Malibu Rising can do. I think their main objective is to make sure they keep control of Grates, because if they get 1 or 2 ballpoints on there, I'm sorry, that might just be GG's. Shake my hand.
That being said, though, we're going to be seeing the comps coming out. They're going to be swapping to that Rapid Pro Deco for the side of Malibu Rising. That is one of the best, I guess, like, backline counters, because you have that blaster chip damage to be able to take some of those angles, but it still has an incredible long range. So, yes, the ballpoints are definitely going to have a lot of strength up top, and if they can just keep that blaster out-painted, they might not have an issue with it, but it's still going to be a lot more difficult than the last match. on addition to that, it is Rainmaker. So if Malibu Rising gets control of the Rainmaker, that's another long-range super weapon in their back pocket. But here we go, the vacuum. Just the fact that that vacuum is going to be so helpful for this mode as well.
Yeah, but looks like Malibu Rising is doing a really great job responding, getting 3 down at one point and forcing the best ballpoint pens to not push as far. That's an unlucky pick there on the Wiper. On the Wiper Deco, actually, so I think the missiles will definitely be a help in just making sure the ballpoints don't stay in one place. But yeah, Malibu Rising did a really good job of responding there, only allowing ballpoint pens to get to the first checkpoint. And with Kool-Aid here, they might have an opportunity to do some damage, but the best ballpoint pens have a response as they're already get 3 down.
I was just about to say that when going up against the Rainmaker might be tough, but they didn't flinch at all. They just went right in. They got the 3 down. Vacuum's gonna be coming out trying to protect the Rainmaker carry, but the Whale's gonna claim a 3rd victim. It is just the vacuum ballpoint left. They're gonna be trying to keep some space, just keep the enemy back to let their team respawn, but that's gonna stall out the best ballpoint push right there, allowing Malibu Rising a second opportunity to get that checkpoint, but already we've seen they got the one, they got the trade right there. They're getting a lot of paint right here. All the team is back. Now we just gotta see which one is able to capitalize off this the most. The Rainmaker is gonna reset and strike going to be coming out for Malibu Rising.
Yeah, they have ballpoint pens pushed back a little bit. Getting a kill on the Dapple is gonna be big because that'd be the cool. Oh, they pop Cooler. That's 1. That's gonna be 2. Unfortunately, the shot here is gonna go down, but maybe a chance for Malibu Rising to get checkpoint. It's gonna not work, just barely. But Malibu Rising now, they have a little bit of momentum to try to get something going, but that's not gonna work as they just can't really deal with the best ballpoint pen range. Like I think what they're best at least right now, is making sure they don't get pushed back too consistently. Because this, other than that first push, it's been the whole game's been played in mid. Neither team has been able to really get a good lead going or just a good hold going. But that's a good start though.
No, absolutely, and I think like it's kind of like bringing in that rapid deck, which has even out the range game. So even though the best ballpoints, they are playing those range really effectively, they're having a hard time getting past where the checkpoint was. Like they're able to play defense, like we see here. They're able to. Oh no, Rose is gonna live right here. They're gonna get the checkpoint and they're gonna be able to get away scot-free. We do see an Inkjet, 2 Inkjets online. They're gonna be taking out the blaster there. Ooh, that could have been difficult for them. Oh, they're going for the 3rd one, not able to get it. The last 2 main members of Malibu Rising are gonna be backing up. But the thing is, like with Rainmaker, like even if you have one player up, it is so easy to just stop a push because all you gotta do is take out the player with the Rainmaker. And so like even if the best ballpoints have kind of like the overall advantage as far as paint and range goes, like if they get stalled out in their push, like that gives Malibu Rising kind of a chance to come back. And this is an incredibly close game right here, which is the 1 point difference.
Yeah, but it looks like that 1 point might not last for long as Malibu Rising is down to 52. Ballpoint pens are going to respond, however, and not allow a whole lot more damage. There comes the vacuum, try to clear out some space. It's not going to work at the moment.
Yeah, they weren't able to get anything from the back. They were going to stop the Rainmaker there. Get it to the 50, not a bad start, but we do have a minute left. And so far, the best ballpoints haven't been able to get past that checkpoint marker. So they're going to have to bring something together. Got to get the vacuum back online, but the strikes are going to be coming out, claiming some space. Shaded goes down. The Inkjet's going to be out of commission. Cooler's going to be coming out. A nice takedown of the shots, but the Whales, that's going to be difficult to go against, especially with the Wiper, but the Wiper is going to be taken down as well, so it's just a stalemate right now as both teams are trying to get a foothold as the best ballpoints are trying to inch their way forward and get some points back on the board.
Yeah, the Zap or the Vac might not be able to do it. He gets a trade though. Now it's just Arc left, but thankfully for them, they are gonna play it. They're gonna be the Rapid Blast. They can just kind of hold off Malibu Rising until hold off best ballpoint pants until the rest of the team is back. There's the Whale with about 15 seconds. That best ballpoint pants has to try to get something going. The Whale's gonna stop that, and now Malibu Rising can just wait and stall out and just make sure that ballpoint pants does not pop the Rainmaker. Before 3, the GG strikes come out a bit too late, and the pops happen right as the 000s appear, and best ballpoint pens will lose the game. Malibu Rising, they showed some fight. They showed a lot of fight.
No, yeah, and like it looks like best ballpoints were going to be taken away at the beginning of the match, but somewhere in the middle there, Malibu Rising found out kind of what their rhythm was. They were able to come back, you know, they had a game plan, and they were able to get the couple of points that they needed to take the lead back, and then from then on, all they had to do was play a really solid defense, make sure that the best ballpoints couldn't push forward, and we saw the perspective of that blaster right at the end there, just some good chip damage, really locking down that left point, make sure they couldn't get up the step here, and this, like, the line marker and the range of the blaster itself just allows to kind of contest both the Rainmaker and all those ballpoints. It was like the almost perfect counter, so we're going to be bringing this set to a 1-1. Both are on match point.
Yeah, I just want to say, I love the news headlines. Those those are pretty funny. But yeah, like you were saying, the Rapid Pro, I think Crab Lake is one of the Rapid Pro's best maps. Just the kit in general just works. You just have that line of sight to use the main weapon itself, to use the angle shooter, to use the whale, and they Malibu Rising just used it so just to stall ballpoint pens, and thankfully it worked out in their favor.
No, yeah, and I think like the way they were able to get some of those splats, able to keep the Rainmaker player down, is like they were able to kind of match paint with all the ballpoints, and so it's gonna be interesting because Tower Control is the range blasters, or sorry, the rapid blasters, one of the any blaster really's best mode, and the fact that it's so close quarters here that they can really get in. They don't even necessarily have to run it. They could bring out the range blaster again and still do a lot of damage against all the ballpoints, the best ballpoints. So we'll have to see. The vacuum is certainly going to come in handy from that ballpoint nouveau, but it's really going to come down to like how well they're going to be able to stagger the Angels, able to get those splats, and they have to get an early lead, because if they let Malibu Rising do what they did the last game, that blaster is going to be hard to combat on the defense.
Yeah, I'm trying to think in my mind, would they stick with the Rapid Blaster Pro deck, the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco? That name is way too long. Or do they want to go with the Range Blaster? Because I can see both sides having their uses. Like the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco can really deal with the inkjets. It can. Does Whale go through Vac? I don't remember.
I think it does, because it's not an ink-based special. So like things like the Weave on the Strikes, they will get stuck with the back, but Hammer and Whale, just like those are a good counter to Vacuum. I don't think the Vacuum can block that.
Ooh, okay. It looks like they are gonna stick or are gonna go back to the range blaster. That is gonna be very useful on tower specifically, and if they can get in range of the inkjets, that would also work. But hold on, there's no vac. There's no vac. Triple inkjet. They're gonna play really aggressive once they have the specials locked in. So if I'm Malibu Rising, I want to make sure that they stay as far away from me as possible.
I think they kind of heard what you were saying about the Whale. Like they were like between having the Wiper on hand with that Hammer and the Whales, like they don't have as much protection as they kind of want. So bring out the Inkjet instead, so they can go for those splats, that pressure. Like that's what they're going to be trying. Oh no, the missiles!
No!
It's going to be evened out 2v2, but the missiles came in right as the Inkjet got popped. Bloomman and Shaded here going to be trying to contest tower here, just keep that space. But so far it hasn't been too much of an advantage in either team. We do see the shot going down. The last player is going to be jumping out, but there's still a lot of blue paint on that Malibu Rising's plat, so they still have some solid defense here. But the second inkjet gets popped here. Second is so well. Those strikes are going to be just pushing them off that tower before they get to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be stalled there for a little bit, but Malibu Rising is going to go 2 down. This shot gets found out by another inkjet. They're just popping these inkjets and keeping Malibu Rising disoriented, like how in early Splatoon 3, it was like double, triple crab, just kind of worked out. That's kind of what they're doing. And now the second checkpoint is usually the choke point on this map, because if you get past second, there's a pretty good chance you'll get the win, because it's very, very hard to get past it. But Ballpoint Pens is making it look like child's play. It's getting another 3 down. Only the shot left about halfway to strikes. They can just hold this out. That's the T-Tech gone with no specials on the board. This will be an easy second checkpoint, and maybe even the third checkpoint in a second.
I thought for sure, like with 3 members of the best ballpoints down, that was the end of the push, but the Inkjet came in clutch, took 3 down. 2 of them are online. We're going to be getting 3 down here, pushing to the third checkpoint. Oh my goodness, they are just not letting them get anywhere close to the tower. Another Inkjet gets popped. And the other thing is, like, with tower control, they're getting some passive special just being on the tower. 2 points from the KO. Oh, the last one's going to be landing, and they're going to get wiped out, but here comes the jump. They're still going to go for it. Is it going to be? No. That's the wipe out at the end of the push right at the last possible moment. Malibu Rising, 3 minutes to go. They still are in this game, but they're going to get pretty much a knockout in order to have to win this.
I think we can officially call this match the what's the league challenge that's like only inkjets? I think that's I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it looks like Ballpoint fans just really want to play the challenges as they're gonna go 1 down. Unfortunately, Malibu Rising is gonna get to the first checkpoint, but they still have a long way to march in order to get even close to taking that lead because they basically have to knock it out. But this is the real challenge here. How do you get past these 3 Ballpoints? They can sit at a very comfortable range and just make sure you don't stay on tower. Their best bet, in my opinion, is gonna be that wiper with the unfortunate timing, but it's gonna be the wiper with the missiles to kind of displace them. But let's see what can happen as another ink doesn't get popped off.
No, you're exactly right, Top. It's just like because of how much of a lead the best points have, they can do what that range blaster, or sorry, the rapid blaster did in the last game. Just use their range, play at a safe distance, make sure they play the defense. But they're going to be going 3 down. It's just the dualies left. They're going to be taking down as well. A delayed wipe. They're going to be pushing up. Going to be taking the bath right here, trying to just get past the second checkpoint. They're on a bit of a roll here. The missile's going to be coming out, but we'll see if the best points. They're going to get 2 members down. They have to dodge the strikes, but they're going to take out the T-Tech on top of that. Emerald on the headed is just alive in their back corner. They don't see him. They're going to get a jump in. 2 members down. Oh, this push might still be alive if they're not able to stop them.
Looks like they're not able to. That's a wipeout. This might be some good momentum for Malibu Rising. Now, can they defend against best ballpoint pens respawning? Because they have a minute left, they still have to march down 53 points to tie, 54 to take the lead. They might be able to, as their cooler player is going to go down, and they break through that second checkpoint like it's absolutely nothing. But here come the Inkjets. Can they deal with it? Not a good start as 2 are going to go down. It's just the heavy edit going to go down as well. And best ballpoint pens just responds. And there's another Inkjet. They just love their Inkjets, apparently.
They really do. And like typically, you know, ballpoints, especially for a map with so many legends like Inkblood, they have trouble getting back into the match after they've been pushed down like this, but the Inkjets are a whole different story. They were able to come in, they were able to clean up, stall that push out, and there's still a whole checkpoint left to go, so they have a nice buffer. All they got to do is tap that tower, and it's game over. They can take this set, but their wipers, they're going to be holding on with all that they can. 3 members are on the tower. They're going to be fighting for it. If the dualies get on, it can be game over, and that's game. Best ballpoint taking game 3 for a nice 2-1 of the set.
You know, I know a lot of teams, especially in Splatoon 3, they don't want to play with backliners because they see it as, you know, a bit of a slower option. Well, maybe other than Pencil. But I think Best Ballpoint Pen just showed, hey, just go 3 backliners and it just works. Because that was just, they popped Inkjet. I'm pretty sure every time that Malibu Rising tried to push, there was at least 2 jets just out of nowhere. Like right here, there's just 2 Inkjets coming out of nowhere like a Muppet.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. But you're so right. It's like that was the key right there. It's like they saw the vac wasn't quite working how they want out, so they popped to that 3rd inkjet, and then they just kept popping inkjets for the rest of the match. And every time they did, that was a whole lot of space that the Malibu Rising could not take. Like even with the range, or I'm sorry, yeah, the range blaster, like they could get some good jib damage, and they were able to cancel a couple of them. But when you have 2 of them bearing down on you, it goes back to what I was saying before. They just like they can play the range game, but they can't play the paint game, and unfortunately, just inkjet paints a little bit too much because they don't need to be touching the ground.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate set for Malibu Rising. But you know what? Ballpoint's just a really, really good weapon. What else can I say? And yeah, with that, that's going to be a conclusion of set number 1. We'll take a short break before we get right back at you with round number 2. So stay right there. Hello, all squids, inklings, octolings, and whatever else. We are back with From the Ink Up 61. I am Topic, of course, joined by IMAD, as we're gonna soon get started with our round 2 set. Shark Bites versus Kensaru's. IMAD, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. I'm looking forward to all this Splatoon action going on. We are on round 2, so still quite a bit of the night left to go. And we have a stellar first set to start us off, so I am definitely looking forward to the second one.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do. It's a really hard act to follow up 3 ball points. So hopefully both of these teams can give something similar to that, because that was the set of all time.
I mean, I know Shark Bites isn't necessarily a all reef slide team, but it could be an all reef slide team.
I like reef sliders, so even though it is the SD button, I like reef sliders. So I would not be turned away if they went all reef slider.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. In fact, I feel like Zones Hagglefish would be the place to do it. Like, Zones in general just benefits from having the reef slide. I don't know how much the new changes to the map affect the reef slider, but because of like the narrow lanes and just the different angles you can take with the reef slider, like it could be rather deadly. The only, I think, downside to that would be just because you have that tent in some of the upper area, that you could be safe from the reef slide. That could just be, a way to counter and just punish the reef sliders.
There were changes to the map?
To be honest, there have been several changes to Hagglefish. I know that they had the pole in the middle, right?
Yes,
then they
of
removed
course.
it and added the blocks. And I feel like the blocks kind of block the reef slider just enough so it can't cheese the whole zone, but I haven't been able to test that. But I know that they adjusted the size of it slightly. I could be wrong on that, but I know they added like just more obstacles and more places to sit, more cover on the map with like little blocks and whatnot, including the one that's right in the middle of the zone.
Oh my god, I did not know that there was a block. I thought it was still the pole.
No, yeah, that pole is gone. Rip the pole.
No, not the almighty pole god.
I don't even know if the with a screenshot we have it. I can't tell from what edition of Hagglefish it's from, but yeah, unfortunately there will be no pole. I thought, the pole is not doing its job. We're gonna be bringing some blocks in. Honestly, I don't know if we'll be seeing Splatlings again, but Splatlings, and even they have a little block on either side of it for players to be able to jump up on kind of that little outcropping on the left side of your own team's zone. So like both that and the block just allows for a lot of cover for contesting zone. It's not quite as open as it used to be.
Yeah. Now, I just want to talk about the map mode itself. Whenever I see Hagglefish market flat zones, right? I view this as like the vanilla of Splatoon maps. If that makes sense, because it's like it's the most basic, the most generic. It's very. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's like it's not a whole lot of like spice or like entertainment factor in it, because it's mostly flat, very little elevation changes. You have the little side lanes, but other than that, it's just a flat map. It's just kind of, like I said, it's kind of vanilla.
I was gonna say that, like, to me it feels like the new Mako Zones based off its popularity in the competitive base, but you're right, compared to Mako Zones or just Mako Mart in general, it is really flat. It doesn't have quite as many elevation changes, as many like unique structures to it as like Mako Mart or even some of the older maps do. So it is like they've tweaked it quite a bit, but it still maintains a kind of narrow hallway-esque form with a lot of open space in the middle. So it does lend itself to a lot of some of that longer range weapons, which just it really locks out heavily if you're able to get up far enough.
Yeah, I think more so the popularity comes from it kind of being like the not like the final destination. If I relate to Smash Bros, it's just like you know what to expect, not a whole lot to do. Both teams, the mastery of this map, I should say, comes from how you more likely deal with the other team and what they're gonna do. If that makes any sense, like kind of cut off their options, rather than like any like movement tech, because there's not a whole lot, to be honest.
And so I think back in the day, like really in the beginning of the game, we saw Crab was especially strong. You know, Crab was strong enough where they had multiple Crabs running, but even nowadays, Crab is still particularly strong for Hacklefish zones. With the exception, you know, like the Reslider we were talking about. Reslider is really good for just like an instant zone cap, but still, just as far as like long-term lockout, the Crab does its job especially well. But we're going to be hopping into this match, seeing what they're going to be bringing to the table, whether it's a Reslider, a Crab, or who knows what else. Let's see what we got in the store. Ooh, all right.
Okay.
Nice starting off.
Ooh, decaf. Okay. Now, decaf, I think as of recently, the mint decaf has been a lot more popular because it's just like a really good defensive weapon, and I think that that for Kensaru's would really help against these more upfront and aggressive weapons like the 52, like the T-Tech. Let's see how that plays out. But you also gotta worry about there's a pencil, so it's about can you displace the pencil? And so far, Kensaru's on their back foot.
No, absolutely. Sharkbite's doing a fantastic job of holding things. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kensaru's doing a good job of holding things down with that pencil there. Sharkbites are looking for a way in, but they are going to be taken down. It's going to be a bit of a trade. They're still, Kensaru's in control of the zone. Strikers are going to be coming out trying to cap it. Ooh, but they are really fighting for it, but they are going to be capping it right at the 50 mark, keeping things even. But you're right about the 52, though. I think between its kit and just its aggressive ability, it's like it does thrive here on Hacklefish. But we do see Sharkbite's 52 go down as well as that mid.
Yeah, but Kensaru's doing a really good job of holding. Now it's about can they move the players off of that nice kill there by the Octave shot? Can they get all of Sharkbites off of this tent area? That's gonna be really big. Those strikes are gonna be really helpful in facilitating some movement, but now Sharkbites have something going. Unfortunately, the bubble is gonna get canceled with only 2 specials left. They're gonna have to try to run for it, because if they don't, this might be game. As Kensaru is starting to enclose and then trap them, it's gonna work. That's gonna be 3 down for Sharkbites with only the 52 left, 10 ticks left. Without any real way to get in, that's just gonna be a game and a solid opening to this round for Kensaru's.
Absolutely. Like we did see Sharkbites, they took the zone about halfway through there, had a bit of an opportunity to break things out, but Kensaru for the most part just kind of held space. Part of that was due to that pencil just between the range and the paint it put down, but the rest of Kensaru's were really aggressive, winning a lot of those 1v1s against Sharkbites. They weren't allowing Sharkbites to drop without being contested. They weren't able to like find a safe space to land. Even with like the specials they're throwing out, the strikes, the whale and whatnot, just they're losing too many members to kind of have a decent presence on the map for that last half there. I did find it interesting though that both teams were kind of had the same game plan in mind as far as their comms went. Like they had the 52, they had their strike weapon, they had their backline or cooler, and then they had like their specialty weapon between the mint decav and the range blaster. But it was just Kensaru's, they had their formula down, they were able to come out on top of that match.
Yeah, I just want to point out on the side of Kensaru's, Koa, I think the name is, they're the only one that doesn't have the same banner as everyone else. So a little bit of team chemistry is a little bit missed there, I think. You know, just pointing that out. But yeah, like you said, it was just both teams had similar game plans. I think that Kensaru's really did excel in theirs, they excelled in theirs, and they made sure that Sharkbites couldn't come together as one gigantic push, because almost every single time there was at least 1, 2, heck, even 3 people down, and it's kind of kept them separated and staggered and fractured, so they couldn't come together. And I think that's just really what they want to do. But will they be able to continue this as we go into game number 2, which is going to be Ship-Shaped Tower, one of my favorite maps in the game. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh yeah, what is your favorite aspects of this map? Like what makes it your favorite in your book?
It's just funny.
That's
literally it. It's just the funny map. I like it. I'm a fan of I'm a fan of out there maps, and this is one of them, and I just love it.
Nah, that's valid. I was just gonna say though, like Ship-Shaped Cargo Co. very similar to Hagfish in that is a very narrow, very hallway map. And when you get a very hallway-esque map on tower control, oh boy, we saw just the amount of presence that Kensaru's was able to have, how much they're able to keep Sharkbites out. If they're able to repeat that again, it can be rather difficult to break that tower momentum. So Sharkbites really gonna need to be able to take kind of that space, take that advantage early before Kensaru's has a chance to take off.
Yeah, but I just want to point out Enki there, who unfortunately was the first victim, is gonna switch to the roller, a bit more of an aggressive pick instead of that more defensive decap. They're gonna try to play a bit more up, a bit more in their face. It's gonna work out as they're gonna be a bit of a neutral. Kensaru is gonna get the first push, only down only to 96. But here, this is where it gets really dangerous if you're Kensaru's, because you don't want that roller setting up the bubble in front of that checkpoint, or else that might be a free first check.
Oh, it's exactly like you said. They were able to roll right in and get the checkpoint, but unfortunately, Sharkbite's going to be taking 3 down. They didn't have the tower in position to take that first checkpoint, even if the roller was. So now Kensaru, they're going to be taking space. They're going to be taking that first checkpoint, and it's going to be up to Sharkbite if they're going to be able to bring this out. Now, we did see them use their strikes in kind of a counter to Kensaru's strikes, so they don't have it online to stop the checkpoint, and it might be just a free checkpoint for Kensaru. The bucket going to come up underneath the ledge, trying to find a pick, but the 52 is pushed too far up. 2 of Kensaru's are down, getting it to 56, but they're still going at it. Kowa taking another one down, fighting Nitwit on the other 52, taking them as well. They might be able to keep this push going with the 52 just completely clutching up here in the front.
Yeah, you could say that against the 52s are going to stay in front, not allow a lot to happen. There's the Great Wall, just making sure nothing can happen. Sharkbites are going to be forced to pop the strikes a little bit too late for them as Kensaru's. They're going to try to get to the second checkpoint now. The second checkpoint is usually the choke point because you're at a really, really big height disadvantage. But Kensaru's, they're just going forward. Unfortunately, the roll's going to punish that, but that's a good trade. And now Sharkbites are, Kensaru's, I should say, are really pushed up here.
Oh, they are indeed visible here on the shot. Really trying to hold some space, but unfortunately gets zoned out by the bucket. 52 is going to be taken down as well, so Sharkbites are getting some paint back. They're able to take some space, but then the strikes come out and push in the back again. Ooh, a nice slap by the range blaster. They're going to just make sure that they're not letting Kensaru really have their full force, not letting them set up. The roller's going to be popping their bubble early, but does get taken down by Kowa, and once again, they're just not able to flush Kensaru completely out, so they just have so much space that they have to retake before they can even get back to mid.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate miss on the flick there by the roller as Kensaru doesn't get another 2 down. Bucket gets 1. Kowa, though, is going to stay alive and probably get their team past second checkpoint. They're going to go down 20-19. They're going to get it. Now it's just a mad dash to the last checkpoint. The strikes are going to go out. Kowa in the base, unfortunately, going to go down. Sharkbites are unable to get to tower in time, and Kensaru will take the set. They are going to win the set 2-0, but this is playoff 3, so maybe Sharkbites can get a couple more points by taking the game number 3.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's not out for Sharkbites just yet. Even if they've lost a set, they still can get another point for their record, which could help them going into the bracket later. But, Kensaru's, like, they have their game plan. Like, just the 2 frontline members were able to just do so much damage against Sharkbites, keeping them occupied long enough to keep the tower rolling on their side of the map. It was just hard for them to break out, and that was kind of what we saw in the last match as well. Just Sharkbites not quite able to stop Kensaru's momentum once they get going like that, and just even when it seemed like they had that advantage, Kensaru's were able to come back and take it right back. That being said, though, the last match is going to be on Clambless Museum de Alfonsino. We talk about these 2 hallway maps like it really goes down to that momentum. Clambless on Museum is a little bit trickier. Clambless maps have a tendency to have some of that choke point around the basket, so it makes it hard to push in without like a team wipe. Museum in particular, I think this could be Sharkbite's opportunity to kind of turn things around and just not let Kensaru's run away with it.
Yeah, and I forgot, is the block jump in Clamblitz? I think it is.
Yes it is. And that can be tricky if you're not watching it, because a sneaky frontliner can easily get in and just wreak havoc there.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, a lot of pushes on this map. I'm sure we've both experienced this as competitive players. They they get forced to go the ramp, right?
Hmm.
Because you're gonna have to get on an enemy plat. You're gonna have to. I won't say this map is also very chokeholdy, but definitely that ramp up to
Hmm.
plat can get very chokeholdy because everyone wants to throw everything at the everything in the kitchen sink at that little ramp to try to make sure that no one on defense gets through, or no one on offense gets through. And if you're on the offensive side, you want to make sure you can just break through the defense. So even though this map in mid is a lot more open and like on the plat there's a lot of options, it's just getting onto plat is where I feel like the chokeholdy sections do really come through.
No, absolutely. Like we're gonna see quite a few fights like in the mid area, just because of how open it is. But really, it is gonna come down to those fights on the plat, on the ramp. Who is gonna be able to come out on top in those engagements? That will decide whether that basket gets open or not. And like it is so much easier to contest and able to fight when you're on that ramp as opposed to the block because it's just you're left so vulnerable trying to take it. But who knows? We might be able to see either of these teams just utilize it to their advantage. But already we see Kensaru's putting pressure on Shark Bites. They are going to be getting taken down in a trade. The range blocks are there, so 2 Shark Bites are down, however. So already Kensaru's off to a good start, taking a lot of space in mid. And we see the 52 on that block coming in from behind. They are going to get shut down, but it's exactly what I was talking about. A sneaky frontliner able to just push right in before the other team, Shark Bite, is able to react in time.
Yeah, Kensaru's, they're just playing like they have nothing to lose, going in almost immediately. Unfortunately, they're going to get a little bit punished here, going 1-for-1. But Shark Bite has control of mid at the moment, but not a whole lot of clams on the board. Kensaru does have a clam. There's a Zuga coming out. Unfortunate timing, just gets a 90-degree flick. It's going to get one, but unfortunately for them, they already go down for a trade, and now we're back to the neutral situation. Even though Kensaru's had a really strong start, they haven't been able to capitalize on that by getting someone on, or they tried to get someone on plat, they got a trade, but they haven't really been able to get a good sustainable push on plat. But Shark Bites might be able to do that here. Never mind, commentator's choice.
No, I think you're right, Topic. Just like they did a lot of good wins in mid. They were able to kind of get set up real well, but like here's the point where they have to kind of win those fights. Even if a couple of them in the Shark Bites are alive, they still have an opportunity to defend. But here we go, 2 of them are going down to the 52, and now they really have a good presence on Shark Bite's plat. They're gonna be able to get 2 power clams in, and they still have a lot of paint. Shark Bite's gonna be respawning. They're gonna have to figure out how to stop them from putting clams in and be able to get them off their plat. With a pencil up with a spinner like that, that could be difficult, except maybe if they drop. If they drop like that, that's just fair game.
I mean, hey, getting it down to 36, I wouldn't complain about that. That's an excellent first push. That sets the tone. Even though we're halfway through the game, that sets the tone for the rest of it. As Koa's gonna get another pick, and you were talking about earlier getting your frontliners on the plat. Koa has been living. He has an apartment on their plat. He's just been on there the entire time, and Shark Bites has been barely able to get anything going. As we see Koa on it again. They brought some friends over. They got the blankets. They got all of it set up, and they're gonna keep on scoring. Get another 2 power clams in with a couple more down to 13. That's excellent.
Oh my goodness. No, but you're so right. It's just like Koa has been a menace. Like they've been shut down a couple times. But the fact they keep trying again, they are relentless in putting the pressure on Shark Bite, and that's been able to just like put the cracks in their defense, put the cracks in that wall there, and eventually with the rest of Kensaru's behind them are able to break down their defense. They've got it down to 13 here. We still got 2 minutes left, but they have just been completely, and they're still going at it. Koa in the back line, getting 2 of them down, getting a jump in as well. They're going to get that basket open, get it down to 7 of the penalty points, but unfortunately are not able to get that 7 power cloud in, so it is going to be closing here. Still keeping Shark Bites in the game, but I haven't seen a push for them. They haven't been able to get onto Kensaru's plat to open the basket themselves.
Yeah, they do have 3 power clans, so if they are able to, they can do a lot of damage. This might be a good start here, but they're not winning their team fights as they're gonna go 1 down, and Kensaru's can just pretty much stay in mid. They don't have to push, but they don't want to play too defensively, as they are gonna get punished there. But yeah, good 2-for-1 trade. But yeah, they can just kind of sit in mid for a lot of time, and just let the clock run. Because the more the clock runs, the more desperate Shark Bites are gonna get, the worse fights they're gonna take. So with about a minute left, Shark Bites, not a whole lot of presence in mid. They're forced back, visible, unfortunately gonna go down here. But yeah, with no clam that they're ready, only 1 power, they're just gonna be the pity clam. This might be game if Cancerous can hold on.
Kensaru's like, all I gotta do is play the defense. Like, they have such a huge link that even if Shark Bites gets a power climb in, like, they still have some leeway to work with. But right now, Shark Bites, they're setting up pretty well. I was gonna say they were setting up, they had a lot of pain, but they're gonna be taking 2, possibly 3 down. However, they're gonna be jumping out safely. Kensaru's are already back on Shark Bites flat, and they're trying to collect enough plan for a power clam. They might be able to break it in. The 52 goes down. Luna here gonna be taken down as well by the Zuka shot. Oh, the power cell is going to be broken, getting down to 10-4, and that's game. Kensaru's with a nice 3-0 against Shark Bites.
Yeah, Shark Bites didn't score that entire game, right?
No, that was a clean 0-100 right there.
Yeah, that was just a very dominant game. I think every time we've talked about it, Kensaru's was on their plat. I don't think there was a single time in that game, unless I missed it, that Shark Bites was on the plat or on Kensaru's plat and had a chance at pushing. Every single time, Kensaru was able to cancel their push, get 1 or 2 down, cancel their specials, and just reverse that momentum on a flip of a coin. So I think that was just as many times as I can say, this is a really strong game from Kensaru and a really strong set.
Oh, absolutely, and it really came down to like, they had some like wild cards, the 52 and the shot, just pushing them constantly, not letting up the pressure, not letting up the aggression. And so like with their pencil and the range master just coming up to kind of help clean up, Sharkless are just constantly having to deal with the front line. They didn't have an opportunity to set up their own push because they were constantly having to watch their back, look behind them, look for those flanks. It really was. I lost my train of thought there, but no, you're right. Just Sharkbites didn't have the opportunity. They just were too focused on just trying to stay on the map at all.
Yeah, unfortunate game for Sharkbites. Really good showing from Kensaru's, but we're gonna take a short break as we get set up for our final round of Swiss. So stay right there. We got more on the way.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to From the Ink Up 61. It is I, Mad Gamers, again, joined once again by Topic. Had a bit of a short break for you as we're getting to our round 3, Little Squid Dragons versus Ink Floyd.
Okay. Now I've seen Ink Floyd before, right? I love
Yeah.
I love their team tag or team not tag their team image being
Yeah.
a Pink Floyd reference. I love it. I'm just gonna say both these team images are really nice. Like that's how I usually pick which team I root for in my head. But they're both really nice, so this might be. This is a coin flip for me.
No, that you're right. It is definitely. Both of them are incredibly well done. Wow, it's gonna. Well, that's good because we want to be unbiased as commentators, so it's good to have favorites on both sides.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a good set as we're going to at least talk about the first game, Rainmaker Scorch Gorge. The one path Rainmaker, even though there's two, there's really only one way to go.
No, you're so right. Like, unless you're running in so much of the run speed, the right way is the safer bet, just hands down.
Yeah, so I think the great is only useful if you have like a man advantage, like 4-1, 4-2, or just wipe out completely. That's the only way you can really push, or that way. So I feel like a lot of pushes kind of get stalled out after the Rainmaker pedestal is popped, because one, you're at a height disadvantage because you're looking up at the ledge right above you, so any charger, any backline just have a field day. And two, you're gonna try to push into the enemy court, which again, everyone's looking down at you, so there's not a whole lot you can really run away from. So I think a lot of games, especially on Rainmaker, kind of get stalled out once the second check or once that checkpoint goes down, because at that point it just becomes a war of attrition.
No, you're so right. Scorch Gorge, it really comes down to like differences of 1 or 2 points in the end, just because how difficult it is to push past that checkpoint, like you were saying. I would say as far as like the left checkpoint goes, you really, like you said, like unless you have that man advantage or the player advantage, it's so hard to push that. But I say the other situation you want to grab that is like if all of the team is trying to defend the ramp, then if you do a quick switcheroo and go to the left side, then you might be able to catch up unawares and be able to take it. But beyond that, it really is even when you're trying to push past the checkpoint area, you want to just take that right side. It looks like it's going to be the Little Squid Dragons taking the first pop here, getting some nice paint on the ground, but neither team, well, I was about to say neither team has lost a member yet. I say that's 2 of Ink Floyd go down. Little Squid Dragons really taking advantage of that paint they put down, and looks like they might be able to take the first checkpoint within the first 30 seconds here.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be biased, but Ink Floyd does have a Dreadbringer player, and I'm a Dreadbringer main, so I'm completely unbiased as Little Squid Dragons are going to keep going, gets through that little choke point, and this might be it. It's not going to be painted, but never mind. Lou's just going to say, I'm going to paint this myself. And you know what? That's just Rainmaker. Sometimes the match takes 30 seconds or it can take 5 minutes, no in between. And Little Squid Dragons just had their day. They had their cake, they ate it too, and just kind of dominated.
I think congratulations for Little Squid Dragons. They have just set a record. I mentioned on a previous tournament I was commentating that I never see any knockouts on Scorch Gorge. It just doesn't happen. Like, how difficult it is to move to that last KO checkpoint is so difficult. But they did it so easily. Like, they went from the center map to that last KO in like less than a minute almost, and they just like were able to not get that dunk. And like, wow, that is a first for me in quite a while.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few Rainmaker knockouts never on Scorch though.
Exactly.
Like Scorch is one of those maps where it's like you get stopped at the choke point right before the checkpoint. You'll usually see it like close matches like maybe like 12 to like 25, like 30 to like 10 or something. But a knockout, if we're not talking about solo queue, is very rare on Scorch Gorge.
Oh yeah, like you get it to 20, you're sitting really pretty. If you get it beyond 20, you're just insane. A knockout is unheard of for Scorch in the competitive scene. Just like how close matches on Scorch Rainmaker can get. But kudos to Little Squid Dragons for getting that dunk, and they're sitting pretty with a 1-0 in this first match. We are going to be taking it to Clamplets on Crab Leg though, which can't really lend itself to such a quick KO, but it does lend itself to a lot of lockout positions, a lot of lockout situations, just because of where you need to get out of spawn. It can be difficult to get to the basket, get me wrong, but it is hard to kind of break out, especially if they're rocking some sort of backline on the grading in the middle.
Yeah, and I expect that I think Little Squid Dragons did run a pencil, or was that Ink Floyd?
I did see a Jet Squelcher.
Jet Squelcher, that's what it was.
Yeah, that might have been from Little Squid Dragons, which honestly is a really solid choice for Crab Leg.
Yeah, because I think it's just so mobile. Like, put some run speed on it and just have a time across the grades. And I think great control, having control of those grades, having control of the walkways is very, very important. You have control of the walkways, you basically have a free entry. You can kind of just open the door and walk right into the enemy base.
Absolutely. And just rain does so much for your team if you're running. Yep, they're going to be running the Mist Rain kit as well, so just being able to pop that on the ramp opens up so much for you when normally it's just such a hard choke point to break. But we're going to be seeing this first bit on Clams. It's usually a bit of a skirmish, just trying to find that space, find that first splat to get the advantage, but neither team really going to be getting too many Clams right off the bat. Already seeing that rain pop from the Jet Squelcher. So far, no. I say that once again as well. No, they just live to contradict me. They just live to contradict me.
Yeah, I mean, commentators curse. What can you do about it? It happens to the best of us. As it's just a lot of fighting. Like both teams are trying to find their footing, and so far, Little Squid Dragons are gonna try to get something going. But the Ink Void, they switched to the V bucket, or the bucket, not the Dreadringer. You know, I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah, I like Dreadringer. Anyways, Little Squid Dragons are gonna go 2 down, so Ink Void's defense is gonna work out 2 for 2 here. They're gonna score right away. Pamuk is gonna get it. Not a whole lot of follow-up though. The 3 clams that Lou had is not gonna get in, and if that's your first push, that's not really good, since you just basically gave Ink Void a free 20 points with the pity clam.
No, I was gonna say, like, it's not the ideal first push that you want. Like, just getting the power clam in, the other team can easily bring it back if they have even another clam. But you know, so early in the match, it's just like the first straw, the straw, something like that. And so they still have opportunities, and right now, Little Squid Dragons have so much paint to work with. Like, we could see a second push from them right off the bat before Ink Void has time to set up. With that Jet Squelcher, like, normally you see Pencil with kind of the paint advantage, but the Jet Squelcher is still putting in some work and really shutting down kind of the bucket and the range left from Ink Void.
Yeah, but I think what's working out for them is that Jet Squelcher, like I said earlier, it's very, very mobile compared to Pencil. You can just move around so much, because for a lot of times Pencil's kind of forced to stay in one spot. Does that make sense? Like, you're kind of forced to use all 5 shots in one area, while Jet Squelcher can just paint a lot. Plus, it has the rain. Nice Suka shot there by Ashley to get 1 there. But it looks like, yes, Little Squid Dragons are just gonna continue up their offense, as Ink Void has yet to get their footing back. So this might be the start of it getting 2 down.
We're seeing a completely different game from the last one. Little Squid Dragons, they've had, like, overall some good advantage. They got that first clam in, but Little Ink Floyd has done a fantastic job of just breaking back out there, not letting Little Squid Dragons kind of have all the control that they want. They're not letting them run away with this match. They're fighting back, and they're taking some of that mid control that they want. If they're able to get that bucket in the range master underneath the lid, then they can really put in the work right there. But as it is, like, they don't have a whole lot of clams if they do get a push going. The crab's going to get popped, getting a nice splash, but the strikes are going to kind of zone them out, bring them to a 2 down, a 3 down, and that just completely negated all that they were able to take from that first play.
Yeah, now Inkfloyd's back on their back foot. Ashley just barely misses the shot, and Hintai they're gonna go down eventually. Now this is really dangerous. Getting a backliner up on Greats, unfortunately, looks like Inkfloyd's gonna cancel that right away. But getting a backliner up on that Great is very scary because they can just kind of shoot at your spawn, not let you do a whole lot. But ever since that opening score by Little Squid Dragons, it's been very back and forth. Both teams have had control of mid. Neither team has been really able to get a good enough hold with enough clams to get anything scoring or to get any scoring done. But yeah, because every time you looked at this map or looked at the player count, Little Squid Dragons have had a main advantage, but Inkfloyd's defense has been vastly improved from that first game to not let them do a whole lot of what they wanted.
No, absolutely. I think that if Inkfloyd, all they need is one opportunity. They just need that one opportunity to break over the basket and they can take the lead back just because how close it is right now. But like Little Squid Dragons are doing such a good job, they're not giving them that opportunity. They're just continually just shutting things down. Even if they're not able to get a push going themselves, they're not letting Inkfloyd get one either. So kind of like with the small advantage they have, they end up winning in the end. 3 members of Inkfloyd are going down a wipeout in the last 15 seconds. Is not what you want to see, especially considering that power clam, the one power clam they had, just got launched into mid and now despawned.
Yeah, they're gonna have to build up a power clam in the next 5 seconds, or else that might be game. They only have 5-6 clams, not enough. Timer's gonna hit triple zeros, and Little Squid Dragons with the score of 80 to 100, a score that is not well on clam on this map. Maybe it's more common, but a score that's not really that common is gonna win the set 2-0. It was just a very defensive game. Not a whole lot of scoring. Both teams were responding blow for blow. So it's just like, defense just won. It's like neither team, like I said, defense just won.
No, like you're so right there. And I think like Little Squid Dragons, like they were able to get the one power climb in, but they weren't like they had some opportunities to do so, but just weren't able to capitalize off of it. So Inkfloyd certainly had their own defense going. But it's like every time that Inkfloyd would get set up, Little Squid Dragons had the counter. They had their own specials to kind of close things down, not let them like really get the power clam in. So that's what allowed them to win with a single power clam push like that. And I think you're right. It is pretty common to see on Crapple just because of how difficult it is to get to the basket, just because of that. The ramp is really the only way that you see teams go for it. You do have the block on the left side, but much like Museum, the ramp really is the only one that you have a good fighting chance.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate way to end game number 2, but we're gonna hop into game number 3. Maybe we can see Inkfloyd sneak out a game as we're gonna go to, as I call, the bowl. We're gonna go to Zones Ramen.
Ooh, do love me a good Zones Ramen match. I have to say that range master that we saw come out from what was it, Inkfloyd, is going to be sitting really pretty. They have some good space holding because of the ledges that are required to get up to the zone. If they're able to just set up real good in mid, they could potentially just have a lot of space to work with. Unfortunately, we have seen that, especially with that Jet Coaster on hand, they just not been having the paint they need to kind of move about as they want. So again, if Inkfloyd is able to set up early, not let Little Squid Dragons take space that they want to, they could potentially have a good way to close out the set with a victory of their own.
Well, here's the problem to that. His name is Jet Squelcher with Rain. That kind of, if you want to talk about taking space, Rain, in my opinion, is possibly one of the best weapons or one of the best specials at doing that, because you're just kind of forced to move around, or else you're going to take maybe like, even though it's like 20, 30 damage, that chip damage does a lot, especially in a team fight. So I think for the game plan for Inkfloyd is, let's make sure that Jet Squelcher does not have fun. Whether it be missile spam, whether it be Zuka on site, whether it be hey, let's just Reef Slider the second we see the jet, let's just go at him and make sure he doesn't have fun. Cause I think for most teams, getting rid of the backliner kind of gets rid of that getting rid of the backliner gets rid of that stability that a lot of teams have. Because I'm sure we both know this, that the backliner, one of their main jobs is staying alive, getting jumps. So making sure your backliner, make sure the opponent's backliner is kind of out of commission, makes it a lot harder for any team to push in, really.
No, you're absolutely right, and it's like that is they're literally the anchor. Like that is in the name of the role. They are the anchor. So if you're able to take that down, that kind of removes, like you said, the backbone of the team. And so even though you can have some really aggressive and some pretty talented frontliners, it can be harder for them to kind of set up and do what they want without that backline. So you're right. As long as the backline's main job is just to kind of stay alive and be that presence on the map that they want to be. And the Jet Squelcher, again, they have that mobility to do that kind of get out situations that the pencil normally may not have.
Yeah, and I think in favor or this map, well, hold on, let me restart. I think this map more sort of favors little squid dragons because their weapons can more effectively take advantage of the walls. Because mid is surrounded on all sides underneath by, surprisingly, a lot of flank routes, since this map has them, unlike a lot of maps. So being able to like have these shorter range, quick to kill, rapid fire weapons just come out from anywhere, that's gonna be really dangerous to see if Inkvoid can sort of combat that and try to go for these more team fights instead of these one-on-ones.
No, absolutely. And so they're going to have to really just kind of watch for those things, watch for those alternate routes, because if they're not paying attention, they're just too quick. They can really get up and just get in their face before they know it. But we are going to be seeing that Dreadringer that you still love coming back in action. It's honestly an excellent pick for zones. Having the Reef Slider on hand is going to give them a nice special to retake the zone. Ooh, they're going to be bringing out the dualies as well with that crab. I say as the dualies does go down, but that's okay. They're going to be back. First zone cap goes to Inkvoid. Little Squid Dragon is going to be getting a nice cap in return and a nice splat on top of that here. They're just going to be setting up, getting 2 down off of Inkvoid.
Yeah, unfortunately, you saw the rain get a kill there, and that's just what happens for chip damage. A lot of people forget that this weapon, or rain in general, does a non-negligible amount of chip damage if you just ignore it. But now, Little Squid Dragons has a chance to set up what Inkvoid, with the power of the SD button, is going to take control of zone for just a second and at least get a penalty on. So that is going to work out in their favor, but if they can't get Little Squid Dragons out of their base, that might as well be for naught.
And we saw just such an excellent use of top of miss right on that Reef Slider. We do see 2 members of Little Squid Dragon going to be going down. Inkvoid getting an opportunity to move in. Reef Slider coming out, going straight for the shot. Gets 1, not able to get a second. But their pencil going down as well. 3 members down. They got some more points on the board, but weren't able to hold it for long. Just Little Squid Dragons with the recovery. So quick on that recovery. And they have a lot of map. Look at how much map that Little Squid Dragons has right now. Inkvoid doesn't have any routes to kind of get behind them. Like, between the dualies and the shot, they're really the only ones that can contest from the backside. And the dualies are going to be attempting to do so. And they're going to get a nice flat right there. 2 members down. And potentially the zone cap as well.
Yeah, great flank by the dualies to catch them off guard, but actually you're gonna get 1, get 2, and just like that, Little Squid Dragons will take control of zone, force the Dreadringer to back out. The cooler's at the ready, the drinks are here. Now Little Squid Dragons go a little bit crazy, getting 1, canceling the Reef Slider with the Zuka, gets a triple, looking for the quad, not quite gonna get it, but actually they're gonna get the delayed quad. No, they're gonna sink in the broth of the ramen. So that's gonna be an unfortunate kill, unfortunate SD there. As Inkvoid gonna have possibly 1 or 2 more chances to get zone here. There is a Reef Slider at the ready in the Zuka. It's gonna work, not quite cap zone all at once, but they're gonna get it. But without any follow up, that zone cap is going to stall, but not really take control, if that makes sense.
And that's kind of been the name of the game right here. Inkfloyd, they've had some good plays to get back into zone, but once they're there, they're just not quite able to hold it. They're not expecting just the aggression, the flanks, the shot. Ashley here just really get in their faces, and they're just not able to stop them in time before they take a couple of the members down. Like the reach side has been absolutely clutch, making sure that they don't get the knockout, but they haven't been able to, like you said, follow up with it. They have to take the next step to keep the zone, and so it's just kind of been going back into Little Squid Dragon's favor.
Yeah, and I think a reason for that is because they're focusing zone itself and not the area around zone, like the ramp, like the little side areas out there. They're not focusing on that. They're seeing the zone and they're focusing, hey, let's get zone and deal with the rest later. While if you really want to succeed in zone, in Splat zones, you're gonna have to take control of the area around it so the enemy team doesn't have that way in. And unfortunately for Inkfloyd, they haven't really been focusing on that. As the Zuka, this might be it. As Inkfloyd's gonna try to go for zone one last time. That's a nice kill there. The Reef Siders are gonna come out, cap zone again, but will they be able to keep the follow up and hold it? They won't be able to, as the strikes are gonna come in and take control of zone again, just delaying the inevitable. As Little Squid Dragons are gonna, every time that Inkfloyd has taken control of zone, almost in 2, 3, 4 seconds, Little Squid Dragons has been able to just counteract it super quickly.
No, and you're so right, and like, we do see another 2-down goal right there. They're just a couple points away from the KO. Little Squid Dragons, they are going to be able to take the nice KO for the 3-0, but Inkfloyd just weren't letting them have it that easily. Like, again, they had some good plays getting in, but they were able to take the next step, and I think you hit it right on the nose. They were focused on the zone. Like, the zones were what gave them the point, but they were too narrowly focused on that objective. They weren't expanding out, watching the surrounding area. They weren't taking space, taking paint around the zone, and so that just kind of what lost in the game, because Little Squid Dragons utilized all of that. Like, we saw just how much orange paint was on the map at the end there.
Yeah, and shout out Ashley for the triple, just clipping the pencil with the Zuka. Unfortunately, not able to get the quad, and unfortunately, their death is going to be caught on stream again. So that's very unfortunate. But yeah, I think what Inkfloyd, they used the Reslider to get zone, but they had no follow-up. They had nothing to sustain it. So when the Reslider got in, and you know, the Reslider does, and SD, they can't really how do I say, they can't hold it. They had it for a second, but it got snatched away from them like the next second, while yes, giving Little Squid Dragons a penalty. There wasn't a whole lot. They could just kind of chew through that in like 30 seconds, and that's just what happened.
No, you're so right, and I think just like they had the kind of the game plan. They knew how to get back in. I don't know, just like Little Squid Dragons, they executed that flawlessly. I think like they just really set the tone with that first match with that 1 minute KO on Rainmaker, and they just kind of went all uphill from there for Little Squid Dragons. So kudos to them for such a nice set and for such a well played matches. We are going to be taking a short break. That is going to be the round, or the end of our group stage, round 3. So we're going to be hopping into our goal bracket in the next set. But in the meantime, stay tuned and stay hydrated. We will be right back.
Stay right there.
see the city sky before the sun's up. It's early, but you're here with me on the other end of my camera. Across the ocean, looking back 2,000 miles through my window. Feels like we're living in the past, but with our best to follow. Walk ourselves home by LED, but we're still sleeping with the light on. Slip into electricity, where our roads finally cross. We go forever and a day with all the messages we're sending, but we have never found a way to find when this all began. When the walls crumble around and all our dreams are falling down, pick up our pieces that we found and build ourselves back again. As I try to let you in, we will be empty from within. The seasons change, we shed our skin until we're close to. Dreams are falling down. Pick up our pieces that we found and build ourselves back again. As I try to let you in, we will be empty from within. The seasons change, we shed our skin until we're almost human.
Welcome one, welcome all. We are back with From the Ink Up. We are here with our gold bracket. I am Topic. I am joined by iMad, and here we go. I always love the bracket parts of a tournament. It's just like higher stakes, because it's either win or go home.
No, absolutely. It's like we're done with the fiddling around. We're done with kind of like the, I don't know, like the kiddie pool. Now we're into the deep end. Like you said, like if you lose here, you're out, and so you just kind of like live with that. You gotta work at it, put in all your hardest right here, right now.
Yeah, as we're going to at least introduce our first two teams, which are going to be Don't DM Me the Word Lemon versus Wait, hold on, I messed it up. Up Ink. Up Ink the From. Now, I just need to, for anyone watching this, if you know the members of Don't DM Me the Words Lemons Discord tags, please let me know so I can deem all of them the word lemon.
Oh my goodness. There's like, of all, like, starting out in gold bracket, we get some nice gems like this, like Up Ink From, like quite the mind bender. It's like, if you're playing the tournament, you just gotta rethink everything.
Yeah, but as we're gonna get started really soon on our first map mode, Rainmaker Crab Lake, which is I think this is I think it's all right.
I think it's Crab Lake?
Yes, it's Crab Lake.
Sendu says it's. I was about to say. Sendu says it's gonna be Zones Mako for our first map, so don't listen to this. Avert your eyes. The visual on stream is wrong. We're gonna go into Zones Mako. And honestly, I was just talking about Zones Mako earlier. It's one of the OG popular maps, one of the more balanced maps from Splatoon 2, and so it's become quite the fan favorite in the competitive scene. And so, because of that, it is very well practiced. A lot of teams kind of know what they want to do going into it, what they're going to be running for comps. So it's interesting to see, especially as we are in gold bracket, what these teams bring to the table, what their strategy going into this is.
Okay. Ooh. Very interesting. Brush, E-Leader, Wiper versus a more standard that you would say with the Jets coach is a bit interesting, but we won't talk about comps. That is a comp from Up Ink. I'm just calling him Up Ink. It's much less simpler. But yeah, very interesting with two very frontline weapons, a midliner and the Kraken E-Leader. So very interesting from them.
Oh, yes, indeed. Like, you don't typically brush more zones, but I think with Makomar, it has some nice routes it can take to just kind of wreck out, be a little rat weapon, and just keep Up Ink on their toes right here. They are going to be losing their E-Leader and their Wiper, so the brush is just going to cast the stall for time their team gets back in. So they are going to be distracting the Crab, not letting them kind of set up how they want to. Two members are going to be going down. They keep their zone for the time being, but that brush has not gone down. It has been an absolute menace in Up Ink's face.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the main linchpin for Don't DM Me the Word Lemon. I'm just going to call them Lemon. It's just how well can they deal with Brush, because everyone knows like exactly what the Brush is doing. Brush wants to be behind you. It wants to kind of get you looking the other way to allow their team to push in. But right now, Up Ink is kind of ignoring the Brush, and it's working out in their favor, though. The flank from the Wiper might be too much to ignore. It's going to be one, going to be two down, possibly a triple. It's going to be a triple. It's just undo here on the 52. They're not going to be able to cap or not going to be able to stop it, as they're just kind of forced to shark around here, possibly go for a pick here.
Oh, but the Up Ink had their own flank in the mix. 52 just sharking, not getting called out popping whale here just kind of keep them guessing, but they're not able to cap the zone, so Don't DM is going to be taking some more points on the board, going through their penalty point, and they get 2 more off of Up Inc. So they can continue keeping the zone and holding things up. And we see here the Ink surrounding the zone is pretty even right now. Like just the amount of fights you've seen coming out from both these teams, but immediately around the zone. Don't DM Me is going to get a 3 down off Up Inc. and they're down to 23 points.
Yeah, this is really strong showing from Lemon here. It's just now Up Inc. is kind of forced back. Unfortunate bomb because they do have a cooler at the ready. We'll be able to use it to their advantage. Hudsies is going to go win. Unfortunately, he's going to get pinned up right over. Going to get 1, but it's not going to be enough. A little bit too late to play some heroics as Don't DM Me the word Lemon is going to take game number 1 with a... I like their comp. It's very interesting, very different, very distraction based, I would say, and they worked out in their favor.
Oh no, absolutely, and I think like that kind of like led to the momentum they got getting halfway through that match, and just kind of even with the 52 coming in from behind, it didn't kind of slow them down just because of how well all the members were able to stay alive and just completely route them out, just not letting them sit still for one moment. Just they weren't able to keep up with that in the end, and I think like they had a really good play right at the end. The Tri-Slasher almost was able to get the zone back, but unfortunately just didn't have enough paint to kind of cap it out for them.
Yeah, I think Up Inc. really has to be aware of the brush, of the wiper, of these frontliners that are kind of they have to be aware of these frontliners, because if they're not, it could just snowball, because you have a brush in your base, you have a wiper in your base, you have a sniper you have to watch out for, you have a zap just painting the corner, trying to get a cooler. So it's just about how quickly can you deal with these frontliners? Can you get them out of your base? Can you get them away from you? Can you play around them can you play around them and make them a non-factor in the game?
No, absolutely. And so I think that you're right. That is going to be the main thing they're going to have to watch out for. You know, Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway, it's just difficult. When you get into like the mid fight, when you're just trying to get the first bit of space here, like it's really hard for that brush to get the space that it wants. But once you start getting into the last couple of meters, just get able to get to the last checkpoint, then it really opens up for the attacking team, and you do see the brush and those kind of rat weapons take the right flank when the main team is trying to go up the left ramp. So that pincer maneuver can be rather devastating if the defending team is not ready for it. So we might be seeing some of that, but again, it comes down to which team is going to kind of take the initiative, take the first fight in mid, because of how narrow it is.
Yeah, and I think if you are Up Inc. I'm sorry, that name is gonna mess me up all the time. But if you're them, you really have to worry about, again, those flanker routes, because if you have all of Don't DM Me the word Lemon on the right side, that leaves the left wide open for the brush. So it's just about if you can divest the right amount of resources to watch both without giving up either one. As we do see double brush, they exchanged their E-leader for an octo brush, so double brush wiper versus basically the same comp, other than the switch from the jet explosion to the rapid blaster pro deco for Up Inc.
Ooh, we're gonna be seeing the first time go to Up Inc. here. But it is Don't DM Me the word Lemon that has the most map control right now, and we see Frenzy on that brush already trying to poke into corners, just trying to be a little menace. The wiper is going to be taken down, as well as the brush. 3 members down. Both of the brushes are out for the count for Don't DM the word Lemon, and so Up the Ink is going to be taking the first checkpoint here. But the hammer comes out. Oh, gets 3. Oh, are they going to get the 4th? No, the Tri-Slash have to slip away. But they are able to stop the push before they can get that checkpoint.
Yeah, that's going to be huge for them. For now, if you Don't DM Me the word Lemon, you really have to push up, because you need to be aggressive. You have 3 really short range in your face weapons, because if you get locked out, it's hard to get out, because you're just going to have to rely on possibly a Zipcaster, possibly a hammer, possibly the whale, because your longest range weapon, I think, is either the Zap or Octobrush, I'm not too sure. And with Up Inc. it's the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco can kind of just space you out and give you nothing to work with.
No, absolutely. And like you combo that between the whale and the line markers, like they have almost so much range even beyond the main weapon. That being said, though, Don't DM the Word Lemon is going to be able to take 3 members of Inc. down, and so they're going to still be able to continue this push, but they do lose 2 of their own members, so it's kind of going to be falling back. Oh, and a third one gets taken down as well, so Inc. back in the position they want to be in, going to be taking space and pick out the Rainmaker. They're going to watch out for Top Monkey right there. Octobrush sitting in the top right there, going to be gunning it for the Rainmaker. Oh, they get the Rabbit, though. They're going to go for the Maker, getting 2. Possibly a third, but nope, it's going to be shut down.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate, but really good for Lemon, just getting 2 down, stopping any more momentum being gained, and possibly have an opportunity to get some points on the board. As 90, they're not. It's not a long way to go to 60, but breaking through that first checkpoint is gonna be really big here. The Brush is playing Ring Around the Rosie. Is gonna be able to give Lemon the lead here, but not a solid lead still. We're halfway through this game, and neither team has broken the checkpoint, so it just feels very volatile at the moment that at any moment either team can just kind of take it, get the first checkpoint, and kind of run for it.
You know, it has been a very back and forth moment for both these teams. Like, as you said, it's going to come down to who can get that first breakaway. The Zip Castle getting taken down there, not able to stop the Rainmaker, so this is going to be up to Inc. chance to make that breakaway, but like there's just so many rat weapons on the side of Don't DM the Word Lemon that they have to like be constantly watching the back, because any one of them could just stop the Rainmaker. And there it goes, the hammer's coming out, gets 2 before they even get close to that checkpoint.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate from Up Inc. as now Lemon's gonna have some momentum here, but it's just the range from Up Inc. is going to be very, very hard for them to deal with, because the Rapid Blaster, the 52, can just kind of just sit in one spot and just kind of hold down some space, because it's probably going to rely on this Zipcaster from Top Monkey. Unfortunately, going to run out just in time. The Whale's going to come out from Rainy, try to force the Brush out of a position. It's going to work, getting them down, 3 down outside of Lemon here. This might be the opportunity that Up Inc. needs, but with how fast that Lemon's respawning, that might not be it, as they're already all up. They're already all for some nice defense.
I was about to say, the speed that Up Inc. or I'm sorry, Don't DM the Word Lemon has, it's just like been constantly the bane of Up Inc. Existence, but that's going to be the first checkpoint from Don't DM me the Word Lemon, so they're going to be extending the lead even more, and just the fact they have that checkpoint means that they have a cushion from Up Inc. and they're going to still push it, getting it to 25-24. That is such a huge lead to work with. It is not the knockout that they want, but it's still such a good opportunity to work with. And now that we have 40 seconds left, like all they got to do is play for defense.
Yeah, with how defensive this game has been, but there is a flank. Hold on, the Brush is behind them, so the Rainmaker has to be really, really worried there. French is gonna get it, go down, but that just kind of stops Up Inc.'s momentum for just a second, though, as Lemon's gonna go 3 down with only Top Monkey on the Brush here on that left-hand side. They're gonna be able to get the Rainmaker, go down Up Inc.'s gonna go 2 down. Now, Lemon, they can just kind of hold on here, probably pick it up or try to, because Up Inc. is going to be on their last rope here. They're going to pick it up, however, not for long. Ondu's going to get a trade there, leaving only the Rainmaker, so the Top Monkey is going to run up to them and not able to get the pick. Rainy just kind of trapped in the corner, and Don't DM me the Word Lemon is going to take game number 2, going to take the set, and I feel like this game really came down to the last minute and a half, because for the most part it was 60-6 or 65-62 throughout the entire game. It really took that one domino falling for Don't DM me the Word Lemon to kind of take over.
Oh, for sure. And I think, like, in addition to kind of the speed advantage that Don't DM the Word Lemon had, like, they also, their whole comp was based on just stalling out Up Inc. from, like, as long as they got that early lead, which they did, and then they even extended it down to 24, all they had to do was, like, be 3 little rats on the map. Like, there was nowhere that was safe for Up Inc. from. And because the Rainmaker carrier is like, it's such a fragile mode, such a fragile carrier, it's like, if you go down, that just completely stops out the push. And so all they got to do is shark in like a one little corner, and then that's it. They can't progress any further.
Yeah, great win from Don't DM Me the Word Lemon. And if anyone knows Don't DM Me the Word Lemon's Discord tags, please let me know so I can DM all of them the word lemon. But yeah, that's a great way to end round number 1, and that will be it from us as commentators. With that, I'm at where can people find you?
Well, you can find me in all the usual places, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at IMedGamerII. But where can good people find you, my friend?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, unfortunately, at topical2. You can find me usually rambling about where commentary, Xenoblade in general, because I'm a huge Xenoblade fan, and yeah, that's about it. And with that, we're gonna be handing off the mic to Rocket and Sofa King. So stay right there, because we got more top cut action coming in a couple minutes.
That's right, we'll be right back.
Good evening, splatters, and welcome back to From the Ink Up 61. My name is Sofa King, captain of the Whip Rays, and I'm back again on the mic for what looks to be a highly competitive FTIU. Joining me tonight is my co-host, Rocket. How you feeling tonight, Rocket?
I'm feeling great, Sofa. We are in for a thrill here. We are going to be taking a look at Choral Convergence versus Aurora. I think that's how you pronounce it, but we are going to be seeing them on game number 1, Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track, which I think is a very chaotic map to start.
Yeah, you know, I mean, talking about Choral Convergence, as soon as I saw these guys signed up, I thought, oh, they may be underseeded. Full disclosure, these guys beat my team in Mako bracket the other day in SOS. When I saw that they weren't even seeded to go to gold in this From the Ink Up, I was like, holy moly, I do not think they're going to be in From the Ink Up for very long.
Yeah, but they've made it all the way here. If you take a look at them, they've only dropped one map on their journey here so far, and that was in the very first round of Gold Bracket. They only dropped one to Time to Win, and besides that, they've just been on a roll here. If you look on the other side at Choral Convergence, they've also been pretty dominant, really only dropping 2 maps, but both these teams have been just fighting and dominating throughout it, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they brawl it out here on like I mentioned earlier, Humpback Pump Track, which I think is just a very chaotic map, as it is just a gladiator coliseum in the middle.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting, right? Because Splat 3 does not have many of these maps that have all these different routes that Humpback does. I was kind of surprised when they first added it. I was thinking, wow, this does not really go against, or this kind of goes against the design philosophy of a lot of the other hallway maps that we've received. I'm thrilled that Humpback is in this game. But Rocket, what is the key to starting off strong on Humpback Rain? Because this one can be over quickly if you're not careful.
The key is to be able to recover quickly, because usually the first checkpoint on Rainmaker maps are very easy to get, and I believe that what's key is both these teams are most likely going to get the first checkpoint in short amount of time, but the key to this map is being able to defend that choke point that's that's going from the first to the second checkpoint. But as we take a look at these weapon costs, we see a Hydra and a Dynamo Roller on each side respectively, and I think that's really interesting, just the amount of area denial that both these teams have.
Yeah, this is, like you said, I'll repeat it, interesting, right? Because we're not seeing many frontline weapons. Like Zap, yes, but it's mostly support. It's like Bucket versus Shot is kind of what's going to be happening up front with both these teams.
Yeah, normally you see very close-range weapons here, like, for instance, like a Carbon Roller, an Octo Brush, or just any very sharky weapon to really provide that upfront pressure, but not really much to be had here. But we see right now, Coral Convergence do end up losing mid a little bit, and Aurora just are going straight for the first checkpoint, but they almost get it, but it is quickly denied by a great defense by members of Coral Convergence here. With their Hydra down, this could be the opportunity that Coral Convergence needs to get back into things.
Yeah, and so much is going to depend on the mismatches that these midline comps are creating against each other. As we see the shot player goes down, traded out by the Bucket, and a slight numbers advantage here for Coral Convergence, but they can't seem to get this Rainmaker out of their elbow. And oh my gosh, Aurora's going to get another chance at the check. The Booyah's going to be coming in to deny a nice trade from the Dynamo there. Things are still super even in the opening here.
Yeah, the Range Blaster there managing to get a pick with the Kraken. Unfortunately, will go down though, but it is still not, the checkpoint is still not had for Aurora. A great defense for Coral Convergence there to deny anything, and now they look to be pushing toward their checkpoint. The Hydra really the only player that can contest them here, and they now have a straight shot if they can deal with that slosh, which they will, and they almost will get the pop. They do get denied as well, and things are really close here so far.
Yeah, that Enzap was the last player up for Aurora and was able to deny the checkpoint. So we're seeing some masterful defense on both sides, but with Aurora maintaining that 1-point lead, the CRB still able to stuff them out. Now, when you've got two strong brick wall comps like this, how do you crack that open?
It's gonna all depend on their specials here for Aurora. It's gonna be that Tri-Strike or Kraken, and if you're on the other side for Coral Convergence, it's gonna have to be that Kraken or Zuka to really open up an opportunity. We see the Kraken denied here by members of Aurora, so this could be what they need here. Pocky managing to find another pick, continuing to be a distraction, getting another pick here. Joet playing so aggressively, and off of that, they will get the cooler before getting quickly traded, but already really well fought in the mid here. But we're about halfway through this so far, and we haven't had a checkpoint pop yet.
Yeah, this is crazy. We said it was going to be over quickly, but that was before we saw their comps. This is a grinded out, I don't know. I mean, this is just a crazy defensive game. It's really going to depend on how these teams are getting value from their specials. Like you said, Aurora rotating this Rainmaker around to the right-hand side, the Blaster trying to pinch and poke and guide its way forward. You see the Kraken is ready to try and give them another attempt at the check here, kind of sharking forwards, but the Rain is going to be picked from behind, traded out by the 96, and things will slow to a stall again.
You're right, so things will slow to a stall, but they can change at any opportunity. Just like right here, which Coral Convergence will manage to finally get the first Rainmaker pop. Will lose most of their team in the fight, but that was really needed for really a morale boost, but mainly just to give them the advantage here. As we see now, all the pressure is on Aurora to counter back in kind. Tri-Strike is available for the Bucket for an opportunity, but it will be shut down by members of Coral Convergence. Quick on that defense here. That Dynamo nowhere left to go. Really just great defense from Aurora after they were able to get that checkpoint pop. Zuka and Kraken now being popped for the side of Coral Convergence to really find an opportunity for them to push in.
And that check is broke, so they can make a big run here if they play their cards right. Into the 40s, the 96 gets 2. The Booyah is going to help stall the Rainmaker at 37. Rocket with a minute to go. Can Aurora flip this lead back?
They need to do it quickly and with specials. They need to be able to rally with each other because anything can happen in a quick amount of time. If they even blink for a moment, the game could be over. And with 35 seconds left, they need to make that happen now. And so far, they're doing pretty well, managing to find 2 picks onto Coral Convergence. But this means that they will probably only have 1 or 2 real pushes left as this Rainmaker is reset into mid here. 20 seconds left. Kraken and Booyah available for Aurora to potentially lead this overtime push. A great shot from the Blaster there to start things off.
That is a good way to kick it off with a nice push. Great special advantage. They're going to be juiced up as well. Now, the crucial element here is that they still have the check, but look at them burning those resources on Street as if they already have it. That might try and hurt them here, as Tufa's going to come around from behind, trying to get Pac. Can't quite jump out. The numbers will still be even, but 2 are going to drop Trench, the Zuka, and the Dynamo. 3 will go down. It's just the Hydra from Aurora, and that is going to be all she wrote, as Coral Convergence, with a strong defensive showing, will come out 1-0.
Yeah, I mentioned at the beginning of this, the key to this map is really getting past that. Once you get that first checkpoint, it's really a just choke that you have to get through. The little bottleneck after the first checkpoint is always difficult to deal with, and Coral Convergence really just had their specials online at the right time near the ender that Kraken was able to just deny any further push. And yeah, Coral Convergence 1 game away from winning the set now.
Strong start from them, and that did not really go how either of us thought, with the very defensive performance from both sides. But Rocket, I'm interested to see what you think, how these two teams will be playing Tower Haggle, which is way more defensive. I think we're going to see mostly the same comps.
I 100% agree with you, Sofa, especially the blaster interaction between both these teams. As a blaster player myself, when I see tower control, my eyes just light up because of how much just how much fun I have with it, especially on a map like Hagglefish Market. Those tricky corners and ledges that you can camp on, you just can be so annoying to deal with, and I think that's going to be an interesting interaction to see, and will really determine who has the advantage in this map.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, other mainstays like the Bucket, the Dynamo, the Hydra that we've been seeing, those all work very, very well on Hagglefish also. And I think that this one is gonna, this could be a very low-scoring tower game if we continue to see the strong defensive performances that we saw from Humpback, which, I mean, usually those numbers are real low, very close to the goal on both sides for Humpback. So I'm thinking, I mean, maybe both teams are going to still end up in the 60s maybe for Hagglefish by the end of this one. It's going to be an exciting game too, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility, especially like you mentioned, the Hydra and the Bucket, the specials, the Booyah Bomb, the Tri-Strikes, we're definitely going to be in for a lot of defensive chaos, just denying the tower, just all-out brawls on it. But let's see if these teams bring out any different weapons here as we take a look at Coral Convergence, if there's any change. We see a Splatana being played and a pencil, so a little bit of a difference there on the other side. Another Splatana as well. They seem to just switch over to the Splatana duel now.
That is funny, and the double splatling for Aurora as well. So both of these teams still opting for largely the very defensive comps that they have been, but just doing it a little differently, kind of going a little bit more slaying power with the 2 order swords here. But as you're opening, Rocket, which side do you like to do best? This is like a left Twix or right Twix situation.
I like to always go left here because I don't know, it just has better vibes for me personally. But taking a look at this real quick, the Blaster and the Hydra go down for either side, and Healy, the Blaster is not present for Aurora. You mentioned earlier that there are, as we see a quick double from the Splatana from Aurora, I want to mention, like, there is no Blaster for Aurora here, and I think that's really interesting, especially with them running 2 Splatlings, as if they're not careful, that Rapid Blaster, not Rapid Blaster, that Range Blaster can really do some damage here, especially with stationary things. And we see it right there, managing to find the T-Tech and continuing to move with it. Tufa is the player on that, just continuing to deny any Aurora presence here. They have to reset their push.
Yeah, and speaking more on the comps, not only did they go double splatling, but the T-Tech choice is interesting because the Hydra has Booyah too, so they have double GGs for the tower. You would think that they would slot in the Blaster somewhere there, but they just didn't.
Yeah, you're right, and also they're not running a cooler here, so Coral Convergence, if you really think about it, does have more opportunities to make mistakes and not really suffer much from it, as we see their push is heading towards the second checkpoint here, and this checkpoint is really key to get because it is such a chokehold, but we see 3 members of Coral Convergence going down and just left to that B-shot, and a great defense from Aurora will lead them to fall back. However, this B-shot is still making its presence known, still trying to hunt for kills, still just being a nuisance here, and off of the back of that, the rest of Coral Convergence are able to rally.
Yeah, they do go 2 down right there, but I mean, that was a nice hold where they're still forcing the opponent to fight for mid again now after a nice long push. And like you said, the juice coming out again from Shark here. They're going to be contesting mid once again. Do they see the sword coming in from the side? Sam does, and is going to rotate to try and pinch with Tan. They'll get it. The strikes come out, but oh wow, Aurora is collapsing in mid now.
Yeah, and with half the match left to play, it is still not over for Aurora. However, like I mentioned, the range blaster right there will manage to find a good pick onto the Hydra. Another pick as well, the Splatana going down for Aurora. And now just continuing to roll through this. Coral Convergence need to get that crucial second checkpoint, as the second and third checkpoint are not far from each other at all. It is really the distance that is the issue here, but this is a good opportunity to strike as members are going down for either side. But a beautiful double, potentially triple here from the T-Tech here, just being able to deny that push single-handedly. Pocky now has triple ink strike as well to further push back from Aurora, and a little bit of a commentator's curse there. Aurora strike back.
Yeah, that was nice to see. I mean, the defense has still been solid, and Hagglefish is a map where, you know, if something goes wrong, you can get it down to that 36. But it's looking pretty good for Coral Convergence here. The Blaster cleaning up every neutral fight in the opposing court. They're able to win, and the Blaster trying to look for another one can't quite. The juice is out again, though, Rocket. This has got to be such an impressive pace for Aurora to deal with.
Yeah, especially if you have tri-strikes being thrown at the tower every other moment you get. Sam popping out the Zuka, just trying to find any value, trying to snipe any of the splat lanes. Won't be able to find much value here, but will eventually go down to Pocky again. Another opportunity for the T-Tech to really make their name for themselves here, getting another pick and continuing to roll for their team. Again, we are seeing another strong defense. Coral Convergence really unable to get through that side of the map, but Aurora, it's conversely not really being able to get past mid either.
Yeah, and if Aurora can get a push going, that will make this end game very interesting, which it looks like they may be able to, with 2 members of Coral Convergence going down. The sword trading one out, though. And don't get too greedy here. You're still down, still trying to fight along the side. The zip is ready, and it is out. What do you think we're going to see in the closing moments?
We are going to see very intense fights here, do or die time. There is, you cannot afford to make mistakes in the wake of it, and we are going to probably most likely see specials being going out, like right here, the triple ink strike and Zuka being caught for Aurora to try to deny things. However, they go 2 players down, and with 20 seconds left and Coral Convergence having the tower, Aurora really needs to build up their specials to try to rally behind this. However, Coral Convergence continuing to just have their foot on the gas, and with 10 seconds left, Aurora needs to jump on this.
Coral Convergence is about to move on if they can continue this hold. They've got the Kraken on the tower, numbers advantage, and that'll do it. Coral Convergence with a 2-0 sweep in top 8 of gold. They will advance to semifinals. And Rocket, I think that tonight, by the end of the night, this team could be banned.
We could see that indeed. They were really dominant there. They really just distanced themselves from Aurora. In that game too, we saw a more... I don't want to say too one-sided, because Aurora did have a great defense on there, but we really saw Coral Convergence really rally together and just all of a sudden be able to operate as they wished on Aurora's side of the map. Their special usage was on point. We saw the Kraken at the end there to just secure that victory for them. And like I mentioned, the Blaster was also key for them. The area denial, that ability to just deal with those stationary backlines like the Hydra and the Knot. They were just able to really operate as they pleased.
It was impressive work, and I think that it was a far cry from the game 1 that we saw. It seemed like Coral Convergence picked the right comp there and was able to adjust to the habits of Aurora, and Aurora was not. After a close game 1, it was a much more dominant performance in game 2 by Coral Convergence. But we are going to be headed right into our next match. It looks as though it is going to be Moonshine, your number 2 seed in the tournament, versus RIT Orange Kois. We're going to take a very short break, folks, but we will be right back.
We got two heavyweight teams here waiting for semis. Sofa, I'm Rocket, joined with Sofa, and we are taking a look at Moonshine versus RIT Orange Kois, and taking a look at both of these how these teams have done in this tournament. Moonshine has been undefeated so far, and RIT Orange Kois have really only dropped one match in their play so far. And just a reminder to everybody watching here, we are in semis now, so we are in best of 5.
I love best of 5 because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you get that 0-2 to 3-2 reverse sweep that's like, feels good to not be out after just 2 losses. But the most intriguing thing to me, Rocket, is Moonshine, our number 2 seed tonight. I believe that they were seeded into Div 5 and then ended up dropping nearly immediately. So while these guys don't quite have consistent results, the ones that they do are pretty darn good, at least as far as Ludi is concerned. So we'll see if they can put a stamp on at least confirming themselves Div 6 by winning the next 2 sets. On the other hand, RIT looks like they're outperforming their seed so far.
Yeah, they are the 33 seed out of here. No, not projected at all to really go this far, but their run has been pretty dominant so far. Like I mentioned earlier, really only dropping one match in their first group stage, and they have just never looked back off of that moment. But switching gears a little bit, we are going to be taking a look at Clam Blitz on Scorched Gorge. What could be the key for both of these teams on this match, Sofa?
Now, you know what? With this one, it's way different than Rain, right? You don't need to push into the enemy court and to use that downhill momentum. For Clams, it's just all about getting under that basket, all about who best can control that elbow. One key is if any team has a backline, you want to be able to set up on the opposing team's snipe. That can be a really oppressive way to go about things. Rocket, what other tips do we have for Clam Blitz on Scourge?
Really, those denial specials such as Try Strikes, such as Booyahs, such as Kraken, really to stall out their pushes here. And something I noticed especially on Scourge Gorge is it is a very volatile match either way, as usually the team that pops the goal first really has to make a dominant first push, or else they will be punched in the mouth right back, as usually the threshold you want to get to on your first push is around 60 points, as if you don't get much value off of that first push, the other team has the pity clam, of course, and they can just go back in stride.
Yeah, and things can then snowball quickly from there for sure, as we've seen, I'm sure, in each of our own times. Playing on this one can be pretty volatile if you let it. But rolling out here with the pink, ooh, a carbon roller and a junior wiper. That's a fascinating frontline mix over there for the side of Moonshine.
Yeah, but conversely, on the other side of RIT Orange Toys, you have a Dread and a Tenebrella, which is not something you definitely don't see a combination of often. But taking a look at Moonshine's roster, I like the pick of the Junior there to have that bubble for the pushes. I mentioned the space creating specials, but I forgot to mention Bubble too. Bubble is something you see very commonly as well on these types of maps, just to be able to create that space. On the other side, the Retro with the Tenebrella will be that player for RIT Orange Toys.
Yeah, I kind of like this where Moonshine's running the Death Ball comp and RIT's running the Gibraltar Can't Be Moved comp. It's going to create some interesting interactions here as we get going. The Wiper has the hammer at the ready and is looking to find something. Sharking up in the ink will force a jump out there, as well as the tent being down. That's a two-man advantage for Moonshine. An unwise fight there to still pick in the middle, and huge numbers for Moonshine in the early going.
Yeah, the Stamp will be denied any pop here, and it is still pretty even in mid. However, we do see Moonshine really pull away now as they have a ball available. The bubble is popped on the side, and a ball will be thrown into the goal here, but there needs to be follow-up or else things can turn on its head. We see Retro pulling out the Zuka here, managing to find a pick, and the rest of RIT Orange just rallying there, getting a wipeout, and this is now flipping on its head for RIT Orange Toys, as they are in a great position here to get the pop.
That is definitely what this RIT comp is going to do best, is going to defend. So that was a great lockout there. But now, with 3 down, oh my gosh, they get the second ball in and take the lead, but it was an equally rapid defensive takeback for Moonshine.
Yes, the important thing that matters, though, is RIT Orange has the lead now, and I mentioned it at the beginning. That is how fast things can happen if you don't get much value on your first push. Moonshine did get an initial good push, just not quite enough, making it past that threshold because of RIT's oppressive defense, and they are now looking from on the outside looking in. We see a good pick there from the Junior. Unfortunately, we'll go down to the edit on the other side, who will pop cooler, but look at the balls available for Moonshine here. They have 2 at the ready.
Yeah, speaking of which, one of those, the one that the pencil has, is their pity, which they maybe grabbed a little too quickly. So keep an eye on that pencil, folks. If that ball that the pencil's carrying does not go in, that was a bad move to pick it up.
Yeah, we see the Zuka just trying to see if they can get a cheeky pick. We see one of the balls go down. We see another player go down for Moonshine. It is the pencil and carbon falling for them. And with 3 players down, it is a delayed wipe from Moonshine. This could be huge for RIT to continue their lead. A ball will be made by Lucky, and there goes the pop here. Retro is there with the clams, with the Tenebrella as well to create space for their team. This fight right here near the goal is huge, and it looks like Moonshine, though, are winning this with a quick wipeout on the other side. A great defense there to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, nice push there, and Moonshine only needs a power in 3 to take the lead back. They're building up a really fast clam economy here. A nice pinch from the hammer. Look how many they have. The Carbon's aiming for a ball to try and score. A 2 numbers advantage. They're going to get 1 ball. They're trying to get another one to get a nice lead, and the stagger is underway for RIT. They're going to load in a few more. One of them's rotating back. Oh my gosh, they've got the ball in to get it down to 10. Who needs pity, right? We didn't need that pity from that other push. They're looking for the GG right here if they can win one more fight up front. Splatiste going in to get it down to 7. Only a few more clams left. Rocket, is that an insurmountable lead?
That I'd like to think that no lead is ever safe in Splatoon, but it is surely a great lead that Moonshine has now, definitely in the driver's seat of things. RIT Orange needs to answer with a great push of their own, but they need to find the clams to do so first, as the clam economy for both teams is pretty even. Retro getting sharked out by Comrade here will go down. Comrade themselves will go down, and kills just gone left, right, and center. RIT Orange at the very least have control of mid, so they will have that space to collect those clams. However, with almost 30 seconds left, they need to find their fortunes really change here.
Yeah, and they're building up the clams to at least start a push. They've got the numbers from getting the wiper along the side, but it's a matter of finding who you can find. They don't see Comrade. Sharky here by the tent. Comrade's going to get the tent after missing the first attempt, going up to try and get another. The score will come in, and it's just the edit left. I'm seeing a little bit of weird lag on the screen there, but man, with 10 seconds left, they're going to have to get another ball very, very quickly.
Yeah, but
I knew I was seeing lag.
Well, unfortunately, we most likely won't see the end of that match, but based on the way it was going, I would assume that Moonshine would maintain that lead there. They had 3 specials available for them to deny that push, so barring some miracle here, Moonshine with a great map 1.
Well, yeah, let's hope that it was just a streamer DC and not Moonshine themselves who DC'd. Otherwise, we may be looking for something cheesy Nintendo moment, who even knows. Either way, we can assume for the moment, until we're told otherwise, that Moonshine has won game 1 and remains undefeated on the whole night.
Yeah, if that's the case, they really put their stamp on this set already. We saw Retro on the 10 umbrella being able to create some space for some RIT orange pushes. However, they were quickly countered several times by that Carbon, and I think that's going to be an interesting interaction if these 2 teams stick with similar comps, as the Carbon was really just able to get into the minds of RIT orange.
Yeah, I thought that was terrific, because they were, they were trying to they were keeping the paint up with the Junior and the Pencil. They were skirmishing with the Wiper, and then the Carbon would just had so many off angles to work off of. It was just really, like you said, very impressive, and something that they always had to keep their eyes on. It seems as though, it was too late in the game for a replay. So the really back-breaking thing would be if it was a Moonshine player who DC'd, or if a Moonshine player was the host, they would then lose that game. So we're kind of waiting with bated breath to see if that was just a streamer DC or Moonshine host DC. So they are going to, I think they are going to lose that game.
Yeah, I'm not quite familiar with the rules on that, but if that's the case, that is brutal for them to lose their first map of this entire tournament. Just an unfortunate Nintendo DC, but they have no time to really think about that. They played really well regardless of it, so I'm sure they'll be able to come back from that being down 1 now. But I want to shift our focus over to game number 2, which is Splat Zones on Barnacle and Dime. Any opinions on this, Sofa King?
Yeah, this one can get interesting, and I think that ever since they remade Barnacle, it's become somewhat playable. You've been seeing it kind of come back into map pools with with zones, clamblets. I think that the key for this one, right, is keeping whoever's on your snipe safe. You've got to make sure that, if your backline's parked there, that they've got protection from left and right, that they can continue to put down that pressure. And lockout is so crucial on this map, especially where it can be tough to break back in.
Yes, for sure. And those longer range weapons are going to thrive here as well because of just the amount of flat space you have in mid. So it's definitely going to be key for the backlines of both teams here to really anchor down their team and help with these pushes, especially with the painting ability of those longer range weapons. But something interesting as well, 10 Umbrella can really just deny the lanes here as the umbrella shield is just big enough to really just be a nuisance.
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right, that these streets are just wide enough for Brella width, so it can be really, really easy for them to use that to gain space very quickly. It can do the same in court and underneath the snipe. So I think that that's a really good weapon interaction too. I'm not too sure if I want to keep the Carbon on this map. If I'm Moonshine with all of these straightaways, it could be tougher for that weapon to navigate here.
Yeah, unless they're really a slippery player that can really zigzag and just be that annoyance that we saw, they would most likely switch. But I wouldn't be surprised if they kept it, Sofa, as they really showed their presence in that game 1 that really just counteracted the 10 Umbrella play, like I just mentioned earlier, that would deny the lanes. However, if the Carbon is played to its advantage of just being that annoyance in the backline, just being able to backstab these players, they could single-handedly change things.
I'm seeing that Comrade on Moonshine is a Carbon 1 trick. So we are going to see Carbon flex a little bit on Barnacle and really whatever other maps this set may bring. So I'm eager to see them prove their worth there. They're clearly a talented Carbon player, as we've got the room back up. We've got almost everybody readied up. Rocket, how do you avoid letting a loss like that affect you mentally, where you had the game well in hand and it was out of your control?
I mean, you just think of the positives here because they were gonna win that match. They know that they had that, and really it was just an unfortunate matter of internet connection. So I wouldn't let it affect you as much by just saying, hey, we are better than this team. We beat them there, and if it wasn't for that unfortunate moment, we would have been up 1-0 now. But they can't really let that weigh on them as we are jumping straight into game 2 of this 5-game set.
And RIT has a bit of momentum from the DC, and with a 1-0 lead, we're seeing the same comp come out from Moonshine and a squeezer and a rapid pro from RIT.
Yeah, the Rapid really being that backline now. I like the pick here, just being a really annoying poking weapon here, and I think it's really good on Barnacle and Dime because of the open space you have in mid. We see Moonshine already off to an early lead here, managing to take control of the match. However, no kills really going to either side as this Carbon is just being poked at by members of RIT Orange, and with that bubbler available, they will go in, they will find 2 here, try to get a third, but will get shut down, managing to find Retro and Lucky at the very minimum though.
Comrade trying to redistribute the wealth there with a nice double, and the picks keep coming out. 3 down for RIT, and Moonshine saying, hey, that DC, all that did was cause us to lock in. However, the Rapid Pro is going to get 1, trying to evade the Zuka, though. They're still somewhat on the back foot. They've got to use their specials carefully here, so they're getting really close to being knocked out.
Yeah, Comrade really showing that this Carbon can do wonders, especially with the space created by the Junior. The specials go out for RIT Orange to take back the point here. It is just left to the pencil to try to paint it for Moonshine, but the point will fall into the hands of RIT Orange, who now have to come back from a great lead, but Moonshine with a great initial push as they never really looked back. RIT Orange don't have any penalty points to deal with, so they could potentially snowball this back, and we see Moonshine punch right back and saying, hey, it is our turn on the point again.
For those of you who are superstitious out here, 7 was the same number that Moonshine drove it to in Game 1 before DC. So cross your fingers and hope that it doesn't happen again, but it's been looking really good for them so far. The Hammer trying to come in from the side as one of their teammates goes down. They're able to trade it out. Oh no, and I'm seeing some more Hammer lag. That's a really bad sign, as the Rapid Pro is going to get a nice direct on Gaming over there, trying to regain numbers for RIT. But Rocket, what do you have to do differently on zones to surmount this lead? As, oh my gosh, it's actually still ticking.
Yeah, it is still really contested in mid here. Moonshine have not given up any ground, but neither has RIT Orange, who will manage to most likely get the point. No, they're still painting over it as no team has really gotten the advantage on the amount of paint on the zone here, but Moonshine will eventually take it, and now out of their penalty point, they are going straight for the KO. 2 members go down for them, but it won't matter in the end as Moonshine punch back dominantly to take game 2.
That was a statement game for sure after how game 1 went. And Moonshine can say, all right, well, we technically aren't undefeated now, but in games where we control our own destiny, we still are. However, 5-game sets are long sets. The winning team still has to win 2 more games. We've got a lot of Splatoon left to play.
100%. I definitely didn't let that previous match affect them much, and we had the quadruple dab there to really hit it home that they are here for a reason. They are our number 2 seed for a reason. They are, I want to say they're undefeated for no reason, because really, like you mentioned there, when they're able to really get the ball rolling and they're really able to do what they do best without any interruptions, they are just, there's no other team that I've seen so far that really works like them.
Yeah, I would agree with you for sure. As frightened as I may have been when we saw them stuck at 7 points with some lag from the Hammer, it ultimately did not affect them this time. I'm not sure if they switched hosts or, I didn't get a glance at that screen before it went above our heads in this cafe here. But either way, we're going to be heading into game 3. Still a tied set. RIT has a chance to take the momentum back. Rainmaker on Museum. Rainmaker is the perfect mode to change momentum.
Yes, 100%, but it is also very snowbally as is most game modes in Splatoon, but I feel like Rainmaker the most because you can control the speed at which you go. The Rainmaker really is it's just the ability of it, as well as normally you don't see Rainmaker multi-kills as well, but just having the Rainmaker and being able to push off of it with the mortar, like the mortaring ability, just raining hell from above, it is basically just you have the ability to basically just chuck up infinite ink strikes. And I think I've seen a lot of multi-kills on Museum as well off of the Rainmaker, just because of how close the area is near that second checkpoint.
Yeah, it can be exciting for sure, and like you said, it will lead to those snowbally conditions as we're seeing the same comp come out from Moonshine, but that's a bamboo for RIT.
Hello.
Rocket, why would they just make that switch?
Really? I'm not exactly sure here, because that is the one with the chums as well, so maybe it's just to have that poking ability to help members of RIT get these picks, as they're able to maybe just be that annoyance in the backline, be able to soften up the members of Moonshine for the rest of RIT Orange to go in off of. But that is something I was definitely not expecting at all. We see Comrade continuing to just be that presence on the cardboard, managing to find Retro yet again. Splat TTV has Bubble available for this checkpoint pop, and they will eventually get it.
Nice work to get that early check. Always like to get that in the first minute when you can. And the numbers will continue to grind down. The hammer pushing everybody back. The rain was the furthest up there, which maybe you want to wait a beat for your teammates. But getting it all the way down to 34, that's a nice start. Still all within the first minute of the game.
Yeah, but RIT Orange coming back with a vengeance here. Already back in mid. They have 2 specials available for them. Actually 3 now. The Tri-Strikes go through. The Bamboo has their chums available, and the Cooler goes out for the end zap. So this could be a very good momentum push for RIT Orange. The Rainmaker reset back to mid here. Comrade still being that presence on the left side. Manages to find one off of that Zuka. Trying to go for the second. Won't quite find it, but that's all they really needed to do to help the members of Moonshine push in, as Comrade still will eventually get the pick there, but counteracted by the Zuka on the other side. A quick defense from RIT Orange.
Yeah, I like how they're using that time to get the pencil out, or Lucky was. That was the right move when you're 3 down. But Lucky's going to get pinched, and RIT, it seems like they weren't able to move quite quickly enough off of that near wipe. And now, we're edging towards halfway close to the game, and it seems like they haven't gotten a meaningful push in yet. They've got the chumps at the ready, opposing teams using the juice. RIT, if you're going to get in, how do you stop Comrade, who gets 1, gets 2? Comrade, it's Lucky for triple, snapped back for 3, and Lucky's forced to escape there. Comrade's teammates are going down. It seems like Lucky may have been doing the same thing behind them.
Lucky and Comrade were just being that presence for their respective teams. Comrade, as soon as they got that Cooler, it was go time, just full steam ahead, just 1, 2, 3, all falling. But on the other side, unfortunately, just unable to make much value out of it, as members of Moonshine were falling to Lucky on the back end of things. Now, with under half the match left, RIT Orange has yet to get into the side of Moonshine, just due to the oppressiveness of their weapons, especially the stamp that could potentially come out here.
Yeah, this stamp and carbon sharking combo can be devastating, as I think we are about to see. Moonshine grabs the Rainmaker once again, now just trying to stall for time here. The Zuka comes out and is able to get the pencil, which is a nice start. Comrade is crucially traded out, and a wipe. As the wiper is picked, you've got to move faster than you have been for RIT, which they do. The one in the back will have to get the Rainmaker. Oh, they've left it open here for now. Lucky goes down. I feel like they squandered an opportunity there, Rocket.
Yeah, really, they were content on letting it reset to mid, but that was a golden opportunity for them to really get some points on the board. But they still have the Rainmaker, so it isn't quite over yet. But Comrade has something else on the mind here. Comrade just trying to delay for the members of Moonshine to go in, and Comrade is already so far pushed up. Will try to find a pick onto that jumper, but will get quickly shut down off of the back of this. Moonshine has 2 specials available gaining there. Will get a pick, but the member of Moonshine who was carrying the Rainmaker does go down, and with a minute left, it is all Moonshine so far.
Yeah, this has been impressive to see for sure, as they do get a little bit of 15 points there, but you've got 2 Sharkers on this comp who are just so talented and know exactly when to go in and back off. It's so great to see. The Hammer here can try and ice the game with even numbers with only a few seconds left. Oh, you can see Gaming really wants to. Gets a pick without the Hammer. Is trying to pinch up front here. Rocket, this is crazy though. I think we're just going to see continued Moonshine dominance.
Yeah, 20 seconds left. RIT Orange really needs to see their fortunes change if they want to have any shot left into this. The special will go out. The bucket will actually manage to find the pick onto Moonshine here, and the Tri-Strikes for Lucky are available to get this. However, they need to jump onto this Rainmaker. Lucky will fall in that, and with 5 seconds left, all Moonshine needs to do is grab that Rainmaker, and it will be game, but RIT will manage to get the Rainmaker. All they need to do is take it, but it won't be for much further as the Rainmaker immediately falls as soon as they take it up. Moonshine now comfortably with a 2-1 lead, 1 game away from ending the set, and they have been on a roll.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for a momentary bump up against a router, that would have been a 3-0 clean sweep. But we are going to have to go to game 4 here. Moonshine is looking to make it 3-1 and to cruise into finals. And on the other side of our bracket, Coral Convergence, or I'm sorry, let me make sure that's the actual name of the team. Yeah, Coral Convergence is up 2-1 on the number 1 seed. Ooh, that would be a spicy set in grands.
Moonshine versus Coral Convergence is the most likely outcome of this if things go the way they should, and I agree with you. That is going to be a absolute movie to watch. But shifting things back over to this set, we are going to be going on game number 4, which is Tower Control on Inkblot Art Academy. What can you really be said about this match mode, Sofa?
So this one's interesting, right? You're gonna need to win consecutive fights, which you have to do in Clan Blitz. Excuse me, which Moonshine showed that they can do. But because this one is kind of a bit more defender focused, right? Like there are areas that it's tough to get people out of, like bats. I am interested to see if Moonshine can continue to cook with the Junior and the Wiper as much as they have before. There's less space for them to move around, more space for them to hide. But on the other hand, I think it may be harder for things like the Wiper and the Carbon to break into bats and to break into Plat and to make those pinching moves that are necessary.
I agree with you, and also to add on that, the Junior having the bubble available for this tower control map, they could be very deadly if combined with one of those aforementioned weapons, either the Carbon or the Wiper, just to really provide a kill zone and just to deny any closer range weapons from really pushing up. But if you're RIT Orange here, what can you really change in your weapon comps? We saw a Bamboozler being played here, but it is really up to speculation to me personally to see what they bring out.
It seems like they are trying to change at least something every time. I thought that the Squeezer Drapid Pro comp was probably the one where they performed the best and they had a decent run in zones there. But ooh, I see they're switching to Hedit, Gluga, and normal Drapid. Now this is a fascinating change. Their specials have gone way more aggro for RIT.
Yeah, you have the GG Strikes, you have Jet, you have that Zuka, and you have the Cooler there. Very aggressive indeed. We will see Moonshine sticking with the same old, same old. I believe that edit was the same. If not, then it was offensive previously. I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't really matter. I prefer the edit here just because of the fire rate and the oppressiveness. We see the Junior already popping the bubble, like I mentioned. This could be huge for Moonshine here, and a key factor into why their pushes continue to roll here.
Yeah, one thing that I really like about Moonshine that not a lot of these other groups that we're seeing are doing is they're doing things preemptively, which is the sign of increasing skill. The Junior hopped on tower and popped bubble, knowing that their teammates would win these other fights. That saved them so much time in getting it going and allowed them to get another bubble out. The Junior does go down, but this Jet is going to try and equalize things. The check, though, is broken. Among all that, a check that usually takes far more to be broken.
Yeah, and they're still rolling here, so if down to 27 points here, we talked about how either team needs to win consecutive fights, and so far Moonshine has been winning those fights really well. And we see these 2v1s being taken here on the side. Unfortunately, the edit will go down, but quickly traded out by that Splatana. And the members of Moonshine continuing to roll towards this last checkpoint.
Yeah, they're gonna keep on scoring, and this next fight is huge. The Zuka's trying to find something that's gonna press folks back. Numbers will still remain to be even, 2v2 on either side. Now it's just the Carbon. You're gonna have to be fine with that 16 and reset into a sharking position. But for RIT, this is tournament point. How do you turn things around?
You really need to take things one step at a time here. Just focus on getting the first checkpoint and go from there. Don't think about it as you need to beat 16 to get it. You need to focus on these individual team pushes to knock off one checkpoint at a time, so you can really give yourself some breathing room here, as it will be a mental challenge to just think that, okay, we really basically have to go for almost a knockout here. But we see already RIT Orange's fortune changing for the better. We see 2 members of Moonshine going down, and Jetpack is available for that Rapid Blaster to maybe turn the tides in this middle fight.
Yeah, this has been nice to see, but Comrade's going to roll in again, getting a nice trade. The trades are continuing. The bucket kind of being pushed back by Tree here. Everybody's marked, though, and another one will go down. They're slowly grinding through mid here, trying to get a push online, continuing to get nice picks, and to keep that Carbon down. Another pick, 2 more on the ramp, and RIT is rolling. We're seeing a great push from them here.
This is what they needed, Sofa. This is what they needed for them to continue with this potential roll. They get past the first checkpoint, but this is now the true test. Comrade will manage to find one, now in a great position to try to find more. Won't find that much value, and it's just left to the Junior for Moonshine to defend this. They have Bubble available to just be that giant distraction, be that giant, hey, shoot me thing, just to really be a roadblock for RIT Orange's push. They are near the second checkpoint, though, and if they can get this, we could see a reverse roll, but Comrade will deny that right then and there, as soon as I mentioned that Comrade has having none of it for RIT Orange.
What I really like about Comrade's play here is we saw several stretches of fights where Comrade was only getting trades from engagements. But Comrade did not let that change how they played. It's like, all right, well, I'll trade you out 3 straight times, but if the 4th I get a triple, you're going to regret it. And that's just really nice to see that mental state not change from the Carbon side.
Yeah, and if you're on the side of Moonshine, you really don't have to play as aggressively, but they still continue, they're still continuing to push. They want to go straight for the knockout KO here. They want to leave nothing up to chance. The Junior will lose that engagement against that Rapid Blaster, and it is now reset back to mid here, as both these teams really just finding an opening. That Splatana will find a kill onto the Rapid. 2 specials available for RIT Orange to try to turn things around, but they will get wiped out there by quick responses from the members of Moonshine, now rolling towards this last checkpoint and straight for the goal. What can RIT Orange really do here?
Comrade and Gaming, the hammer and sickle of Moonshine, as they're just going to continue to get pick after pick. The Zuka is going to come out and try and find another one. Can't quite. The Jet's going to come out, though, to contest Comrade, who's going to evade it. Oh my gosh, split rolling all around. Instead turns their attention towards the tower. They go 2 down. That Inkjet didn't get anything. This check is broken. They're still increasing their score. They could go for a cheeky knockout towards the end here. Kibri is the only one standing in their way. A knockout, and Moonshine, after the game 1 DC, is going to sweep the rest of the set. They're heading for grand finals, and they've got the wind at their backs, Rocket.
Yeah, Moonshine basically had to win 4 matches there, pretty much, but they were just dominant from the very start, and they move on to grand finals, like you mentioned. And if we take a look at how the other match turned out, Coral Convergence does win that, so we will see the predicted matchup here between these 2 teams, and we are definitely going to be in a treat for that one, Sofa.
Oh, I'm excited. And yeah, like you said, the other one just wrapped up. Folks, let's not even take a break, right? We've got 2 teams left. Let's get hyped for Coral Convergence and Moonshine. They'll take some time to get the room set up, but let's just talk this out, Rocket, because I think, I truly think, I've commentated quite a few of these, I've played in quite a few of these. I think that this grand final set is going to be an all-timer for From the Ink Up.
100% here. Both these teams, I can't really even make a prediction. They're just so evenly matched between how they both play here. From one side, you have the excellent team play that we saw from Coral Convergence, and we saw them take down Aurora in round 2, and on the other side, we just saw how dominant Moonshine was. There's such aggressive play to get consecutive wipeout after wipeout, just to continue to just basically W key straight through all of that. It is just gonna be an absolute brawl for the ages.
I think the most exciting thing to me is that this is going to be a story of offense versus defense. On
Mhm.
Moonshine's side, you have the Comrade Gaming fighting duo up front. But then for Coral Convergence, we saw that outstanding defensive play on Rainmaker, Humpback, and on Tower Control Haggle. They were just able to shut down anything the opposing team was doing with, they were running all those midline comps with only the one front line, and then they switched to the Stamper in game 2. I think that we're going to see which team is able to win out. Both of these teams are going to be very tested by the other, and that is just always thrilling to head into a match with that at stake.
Yeah, how does the saying go? When an immovable object meets an unstoppable force, that is how I believe this match is gonna turn out here. And like you mentioned, the interaction between both of these teams is just gonna be one for the ages. I'm predicting a full 5-game set here. I don't think any team is really gonna dominate this, but I can be proven wrong if we see how this game 1 turns out. And just taking a quick look at it, I believe it is Tower Control on Undertow Spillway will be your game 1.
Ooh, that is interesting. This is fascinating for a game 1 because it's kind of, Rainmaker on Undertow is a mainstay, but Tower Control on Undertow has kind of gone in and out of vogue as far as whether or not it's, something that's liked among the community. I guess we'll start with that, Rocket. Do you like this map mode?
I mean, any Tower Control mode always will be in my good graces, but specifically on Undertow Spillway, I don't really have a strong opinion either way on this one specifically. It's kind of like one of those map modes, and it's kind of whatever. But what I really like about this though is there are ledges here, especially in the direction that the tower does go, that you can really take advantage of if you play your cards right. I'm not only speaking about blasters as well, I'm talking about Splatanas, which I'm sure we're gonna see.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. We may see the Stamper out of Coral Convergence. We're definitely going to see gaming on that Wiper out of Moonshine. So it's going to be really interesting to see because Moonshine's aggression isn't the typical meta aggression where it's like double shot or shot in 52 or shot and bucket. It's a very skirmishy, sharky aggression that lives off of the paint that the support is putting out. So it's going to be interesting to see how that style will work against, the Stamper, the Blaster, the midline that Coral Convergence is putting out. It could be good against it. It could get stifled by it. I think that we're in for a really good set, and we're probably honestly going to see a little bit of both.
Yeah, Coral Convergence really need to hone in on those two frontline players, Comrade and Gaming. They really need to be communicating with each other well to shut down those players. As we saw in that previous semifinals, if left unattended, things can turn just like that. Just a quick team fight won based off of just one of those players not being accounted for. And if you're on the side of Moonshine, you have to do the opposite. You have to make sure that you can get those players in such a position where they can really feed.
Yes, exactly. I think that is going to be the key. And then on the other side, it's like you have to stop and think, okay, wait, we're feeding, and then make another game plan off of that. So I think that we're going to see that back and forth from each team adjusting to the other, kind of learning their styles, getting used to their styles. Hey, that's why best of 5 sets are the norm for Splatoon, because you have that extra time to kind of learn each other, get a sense for what you're doing. But as far as the pacing of the set overall, I'm interested that game 2 is Rainmaker, so whoever wins game 1 could then build themselves quite a bit of momentum with that game 2.
Yes, and as it is on the chaotic map itself, Humpback Pump Track, and I think that is going to be a perfect Rainmaker map for this grand finals here. We see at the top there, both these teams still deciding on weapons, but I want to take a look at game 3 as well, which I see there on our little bulletin board, Mahi Mahi Zones. I think that's going to be quite the brawl as well of a map. What are your opinions on it, Sofa?
That's going to be crazy because I can see both teams getting really good pushes here. I can see Moonshine making retake hell with the Carbon and the Wiper, but I can also see Coral Convergence really locking things down with that midline comp, and if they get into a happy spot, they can grind that out to a knockout under the right circumstances. So I think that we're really going to see, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen two teams with such cool conflicting dynamics in a From the Ink Up Grands, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be watching this.
Yes, and we are gonna hop straight into things. Ladies and gentlemen, Octolings and Inklings alike, we are here in grand finals for From the Ink Up number 61. These two teams have fought through everything to get here, and they are fighting to be crowned victors here. These two teams sticking with their same comps which we've seen so far, so no real surprises here so far.
Yeah, this is interesting. It looks like Coral Convergence is kind of blending both of their more offensive styles to kind of give themselves a faster-paced comp. But the early fight is going to Moonshine as they're able to clear it out, force a jump out. Let's see how Coral Convergence defends here.
Yeah, that is their key here. Moonshine is their offense. They will find, with Splatana, will find a pick onto Shark there, the back line of Coral Convergence. That is huge, as that is a cooler down. The shot managing to stay alive for temporarily, but the members of Moonshine quickly converting on that. The bubble is up for Moonshine, and they are just on a roll through this first push, Sofa.
Yeah, that bubble was crazy when numbers were otherwise even to break the check. Huge value coming out. The Pencil, though, will continue to ride that tower to 38. Oh, it's going to try and go back on it. Despite their team being 2 down, the Kraken's going to come in and get them. A nice defense, but they let that tower glide all the way to 32 as the Junior will be picked there in the back. Now it's Coral Convergence's turn to try and show off and to get a push underway with about a minute and a half into this game.
Yeah, we saw how Moonshine likes to push on that, using that bubble to create that presence on the tower and having their frontline weapons really eat on the outside and just be that annoyance. For Moonshine, though, their pushing style seems, or not Moonshine, for Coral Convergence's push, they really just need to get themselves in great positions, especially this range blaster. If they can really find that spot that can be just so difficult to deal with near the ledges of this, they can really bring themselves back into this. As with 3 minutes left, around that mark, Coral Convergence does have 82 points left onto the board, but still, though, they have yet to get a significant push in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and I mean, they still don't have numbers. The Zuka trying to chip one there. They're going to need to get control of Spine in order to roll this thing through. We'll see if the Juice can help them do it. They're going to have to win another fight over here. It looks like Moonshine's actually being pretty hesitant on defense, not opting to take too many fights here, which is smart, as, I mean, they're able to get him down anyway. Comrade and Gaming rolling on up. Comrade trying to trade another one out, and for the time being, Coral Convergence can't quite get their feet under them offensively.
They still have plenty of game left to be played, though. With about half the match left, they can turn things on a dime, which they were doing right here. As with 2 players down, members of Coral Convergence just making their presence known. Tan on that Splatana Stamper, just being that giant annoyance with the Zipcast and trying to find a pick at the back of that. And Kraken is available for this range blaster as well. It will be popped here just to really get that checkpoint pop, and they are heading towards the 3rd checkpoint as they have now comfortably in the lead and continuing to roll.
I love that. That was a significant chunk of points here. And while they do mostly go down, forcing a jump out. Oh, Tan jumped to a teammate, tried to keep fighting, but then was picked. So that is going to be a long wipe. The Pencil's setting up here now. If you're Moonshine, your backs are against the wall. You're threatened with your first non-DC loss of the tournament. What do you got to do to get it back?
Really have to play around with your strengths, which is going to be with Comrade, it's going to be with Gaming, and it's going to be with that Junior bubble that they really build up another push here. They have that Junior bubble available, which will go out on, I believe, the tower. No, it will be popped somewhere else, actually, but the specials are online for Moonshine here. Getting a pick there is that Splatana, really just trying to clean off the members of Coral Convergence who are being that annoyance in the background. That Stamper will go down, but reset back to mid here is still heavily contested with around a minute left. Moonshine really needs to start developing their push.
I love how gaming works the mid here with Wiper, and it's just kind of always looking within their range. As 3 will go down for Coral Convergence. Moonshine now has their chance. No GGs, crucially, on the side of Coral Convergence. They're just going to have to play this out straight. The bubble rolling in, less than 10 points away from the lead. Sam is coming in from the side. Sam is the last one alive. Sam's going to fight in this tower, is going to get wiped, and Moonshine is going to roll to... Oh my gosh, they jumped off the tower, they got back, and they got the lead. Can they get the knockout before Coral Convergence comes back? They do, and Moonshine, with a terrific comeback victory, will go up 1-0 in this set.
Lincoln, you'll miss it. Moonshine punching right back and showing how well they play aggressively, how much of an immovable force they are, or not an immovable force, an unstoppable force, just continuing to roll through that. We have the quadruple dab again, we have the fist bump, and Moonshine continue their winning streak here, yet to drop a game that they didn't DC.
Yeah, that's impressive, to be sure. I mean, look at this. You've got a terrific push here, done at the right time. You get a nice... I mean, the crucial thing is here is Tan diving. Everybody goes for Tan, gets a trade. The other two go up front, and then just... I mean, that's it. Sam was the only one who was able to get to that tower in the final moments, and at that point, just a huge numbers disadvantage. Moonshine rolling to it, and you gotta think, with Rainmaker on Humpback coming up, they've got some good momentum on their side. But my question for you, Rocket, when we saw Coral Convergence play this one, they ran a completely different comp that was very defensive. Do you think they're going to do that again?
I believe so, because if you take a look at what Moonshine just ran, the Carbon, the Wiper with that Stamp, and that Junior with the bubble, that is such a frontline oppressive approach that you really need to counter it with a stronger defense, as that bubble is just going to be key to them getting through that chokehold past that first checkpoint, I believe. And we already know how well, it doesn't need to be said over and over, but we've seen how well Comrade and Gaming can be put in these positions where they can just really feast. As we saw in that game 1, Comrade was able to basically just be a giant distraction to keep that tower rolling towards the end there.
Yeah, I loved that. And the other thing that I loved was we called it out mid-game too, but T's bubble use was just insane for getting maximum points out of that tower. So I'm interested to see how that comes to play here. We see the head it come back out.
Dynamo.
And then, yep, look at this. Dynamo, CB, or CRB, and 96 combo. This is what won Coral Convergence game 1 of that previous set.
Interestingly enough, a double Kraken, which you don't normally see often, but on this map, it seems to be their strength, so it's definitely interesting to see if this comp will be able to punch back Moonshine here and potentially give them their first loss. But already off rip, we see the bubble being popped from Moonshine, but 2 members will fall, so Coral Convergence have the presence they need.
Yeah, I love that opening here, as you're seeing T's the only one. Some crazy survivability there, but the rain's just going to go right past it. From Coral Convergence, this seems like one of their strongest map modes. A nice pick there from the Dynamo, trying to get more ink presence over there as the jumps come back in, but getting that check broken early, Rocket, is just so crucial on this map.
Yeah, this Dynamo, it can be huge, especially in this part of the map, being able to deny a large area of these tight corners and also being able to build cooler for their team. The Rainmaker will be reset back to mid, but most likely in the hands of Coral Convergence, as they have the presence in mid. The Carbon Roller will go down for the side of Moonshine. So Keeley, this is the opportunity that you need to strike with that frontline presence away. With Comrade now away, this is what you need to go in. But the Zuka being popped will deny any further presence, at least temporarily.
Or they got Comrade up front too, swimming in the trail of the Kraken. This is going to be a lot of points, hiding behind the walls. The Rain is able to get another one. Squid rolling forward into the 20, can't get past the 20, but that's a massive push from Coral Convergence, as Moonshine hasn't even sniffed mid, coming close to the 3-minute mark. The Rain is, ooh, don't go too quickly here, little Rainmaker, as it's going to try and make a play for wisely the far left side on retake here.
We see why Coral Convergence are bringing out that double crack and just using that as the frontline presence to push into this side of the map. The Dynamo will fall here, but a quick response from Moonshine here as they will actually get the checkpoint pop as well. This could be huge for Moonshine if they can manage to continue their roll, but we were talking about it earlier, so but this is going to be a strong defensive comp from Coral, so it's going to be really hard for them to get past, especially if the Kraken is going to be popped there.
Yeah, I really like that Kraken play, but they do go 2 down for Coral Convergence. So you've got to make sure this Kraken is going to be a place where it can live, and it's not. So that's going to be a long wipe. You see Gaming rolling up here, getting a hammer at the perfect time, going around the corner, getting 1, 3 down.
Oh.
That's going to be a lead flip for Moonshine. They're going to try and get the knockout. They can't quite get it stopped at 3, but Coral Convergence defense has shattered here in the second half of Game 2.
They just saw daylight there, so an opportunity presented itself, and they took the lead right out of the hands of Coral Convergence in one fell swoop. That defense just was not enough for them to stall out a little bit, and now with 2 minutes left, Coral Convergence are feeling the pressure of it. They cannot afford to go 2 down here. They go 3 players down on the other side, and will lose the Rainmaker pop. Moonshine showing their defense as well is pretty strong.
Oh yeah, agreed completely. Hey, and the best defense is a good offense.